Time since his indictment last week on corruption charges. He will have a news conference in his home state this morning. His arraignment is set for Wednesday. Beginning today, families who lost everything in the Maui wildfires will be allowed back in to see the burned remains of their homes in Lahaina. Sherry Preston, ABC News.
All right, time for the KSL In-Depth. Drug-related pregnancy deaths have gone up 190% in the last 10 years. That's according to the National Institute of Child and Human Development.
Dr. Tori Metz with the U of U Elevate Maternal Health Research Center of Excellence says they're working with communities who have been impacted.
There are a number of different things that we've been working on, have been working with the community to really better understand. As part of the Elevate Center, we will also be advised by a large community advisory board that includes people who have lived experience with substance use disorders in pregnancy, so that they can also help us better understand needs and needs of the community. There'll also be a number of community advisory board members from our tribal communities, so that they can help advise us on, what are the barriers there? How do we get patients who are currently in tribal communities, either in the urban setting or more rural and remote from larger hospital settings, to best engage with care? How do we adapt what we're doing to culturally best fit the community to make sure that we're providing care that optimizes outcomes?
Matt says that people with substance abuse disorders often don't get the treatment they need because of fear and stigma. The center hopes to educate people and set up clinics where these patients feel safe.
That's the In-Depth at 15 and 45.
6:49, let's get a look at traffic and weather together here, brought to you by Granite Credit Union's new Dividend Plus checking account. What's the latest on the roads, Heather?
Well, the worst congestion I'm seeing right now is on Mountain View Corridor northbound getting to 3500 south. We always have delays in that area starting about this time of the morning. It's just the timing of that light, and it'll back traffic up pretty quickly to 4100 south. Bangalore Highway also seeing a few more brake lights now as you head through West Valley City between 5400 and 4700 south, but no delays right now coming out of Tooele County on I-80 or the 201 freeway. Jason.
Looking much better now at the west gate of Hill Air Force Base, although it is still a little bit congested there, but it is now much heavier at the south gate of Hill Air Force Base. I don't know if a lot of people heard about the west gate and decided to go in the south. I'm not exactly sure, but they're both kind of busy at this point and probably going to take you some extra light cycles to actually get on the base. I-15 itself still rolling smoothly from Ogden to Salt Lake City. Eric?
Well, we got a couple spots of congestion starting to build northbound Foothill Drive at 2100 north and 1300, actually 2100 south and 1300 south in both cases. It is a little bit slower than just a few minutes ago, so signs are pointing to more slowdowns going up towards the University of Utah later on. Down Utah County, I-15 is looking good, northbound and southbound. Advanced Window Products, factory direct affordable windows. Call today, they're on their way. Financing available. Save now, pay later. 801-850-9100 or advancedwindowsusa.com. I'm Eric Butler in the KSL Traffic Center.
High pressure firmly in control this week, and we're going to see temperatures running about 10 degrees above average for this time of year. 85 and sunny today. Same story on Tuesday. Wednesday, right there in the mid-80s and sunny as well. We'll pick up some breezy conditions, and we'll see those on Thursday. A little bit of breeze out of north will cool us slightly. 78 for an afternoon high. Low 70s on Friday, increasing clouds. Showers develop by Saturday, upper 60s on Saturday, low 60s on Sunday, again with off and on showers possible. From the KSL Weather Center, I'm Brett Benson.
And right now it's 57, jacket weather. The 7-day forecast brought to you by Performance Automotive Bountiful.
Yeah, you'll notice I brought my sweaters.
Yeah.
It is sweater weather time again, which is one of my favorites. You know, I was just reminded that markets are going to be closed today. Yom Kippur is taking place, the holiest day of the year for the Jewish people, also known as the Day of Atonement. So for our Jewish friends out there, we say have a great day, Yom Kippur.
Yeah, I was looking up this morning because I thought, do you say Happy Yom Kippur? And they say you wish them an easy fast because they fast the entire day.
Right. Well, we wish you an easy fast today.
Yes.
And we appreciate you being out there listening this morning. So we won't have opening bells for you, but we will have some futures markets to talk about when we check money news coming up next.
And of course, tonight at 6 o'clock, it is Cougar Nation here on KSL. Brought to you by Blue Barn Wealth. They empower a simple, intentional, and meaningful life. Visit bluebarnwealth.com. Blue Barn Wealth, fee-only fiduciaries who help you live within your meaning. bluebarnwealth.com.
All right, let's talk about our friends at NPS. Every week is a great week, and we love Mondays because they usually slip us a little inside information on some of the even bigger discounts that they're offering on things throughout their stores in Layton, in Orem, and in Salt Lake City. But we've told you before, NPS, their basic business model is to save you 30 to 70% off everything.
It used to be a well-kept secret, but now more people are finding out because we're telling you about it. And I've seen shoppers when I go to do my grocery shopping at NPS who say, stop talking about it. Because now it's never so crowded that you can't function, though, for heaven's sake. But I'm happy that Utah families are saving money.
Even when we're there on broadcast, we have people with big baskets full of whatever, saying, please stop sending people here. 30 to 70% off, and then they're going to take an additional 30% off this week. Kitchen supplies, office supplies, makeup and nail care, even off of sunglasses and purses. Oh, and 30% off shoes.
Yeah, and at the Orem and Layton stores, they have an additional 50% off fabric.
So if you've been looking or maybe working on some winter projects and you're thinking about doing some sewing, take advantage of that at the Orem and Layton stores. Remember, you'll find 4 locations of NPS, 1 in Orem, 1 in Layton, and 2 in Salt Lake City.
Hi, this is Clark Ivory with Ivory Homes. 2023 is turning out to be a great year for Ivory home buyers. Let me tell you why. The number of existing homes for sale is way down, so with fewer used homes to choose from, new home sales have soared. At Ivory Homes, we are creating all kinds of possibilities for you. A great selection of new homes ready for move-in, and fixed interest rates as low as 5.875%, saving you hundreds on your monthly payment. Check out Ivory Homes today.
So, you want to be a hero. Here are some ways to get the job. Hunt down that killer shark. Or run into a burning house to save a kitten. Luckily, there's an easier way to become a hero. Call 911 if you see someone experiencing the symptoms of stroke, sudden weakness on one side, or trouble speaking, walking, or seeing. Stroke. Know the signs. Act in time. You'll be a real hero. A message from the National Institute of Neurological Disorders and Stroke.
If you can plan barbecues and weddings, you can plan to protect yourself from a natural disaster. Sign up for local alerts, prepare an emergency kit, and make a family communications plan. Get started at ready.gov/plan.
Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
Watching Utah's Money is brought to you by Trajan Wealth, your trusted local fiduciary advisors, TrajanWealth.com. Cache County School District is asking voters to approve a $139 million bond this November. This bond would deal with overcrowding in schools. The district is asking for the money to go towards putting 6th graders into middle schools and building 3 new schools in the county.
Meta is getting creative with their AI. The company is planning on releasing artificial intelligence chat bots with distinct personalities like Bob the Robot, a self-described sass master. What's your job? I'm a sass master. Meta says this is all to attract younger users.
I wonder if there'll be a chatbot then to sass back at Bob. I don't know. We'll see. College tuition isn't the biggest expense that comes with raising a child anymore. In the U.S., childcare costs more than college tuition. That, according to a NetCredit.com survey. Teen car ownership also costs more than college, and families spend 19% of their annual income on raising a child.
Wow. Let's get a look at your money at this moment. And, of course, we just learned that the markets will be closed today for Yom Kippur, but we can check futures. Dow futures are down 64. That's 0.2%. S&P off 9. That's 0.2. The NASDAQ down 25, which is also 0.2.
Northbound, let's see, Mountain View Corridor and Bangerter Highway, both getting slower there on the West Valley side. We'll check traffic and weather together when we come back.
Hey, Derek Overstreet here from the New Millennium Group, financial advisors in Utah. You know, I've been helping people retire in the state of Utah for the last 20 years. The way we do that is we actually find out what is important to you. We create a step-by-step plan that takes into consideration your income, your debt, whether you want money from real estate, stock market, annuities, life insurance, whatever. If you want to deal with professionals, people that are fiduciaries and have a legal responsibility and obligation to do what's in your best interest, Give my team a call at 888-999-6370. That's 888-999-6370. Or go to my website, utahsfinancialplanner.com. If you'd like to retire 3 to 5 years before you thought it was possible, give my team a call right now. 888-999-6370. That's 888-999-6370.
You can host the best backyard barbecue when you find a professional on Angie to make your backyard the best around. Connect with skilled professionals to get all your home projects done well. Inside to outside, repairs to renovations. Get started on the Angie app or visit Angie.com today. You can do this when you Angie that.
Whether you own a local business or a global one, you know that these days, generating growth is a challenge. By teaming with Bank of America, you'll not just stay ahead of the curve, you'll move it. With access to experts, award-winning insights, and business solutions so powerful, you'll make every move matter, locally and globally. Visit bankofamerica.com/banking for business to learn more. What would you like the power to do? Copyright 2023 Bank of America, N.A.
Win great prizes from KSL News Radio. This week, win tickets to the Utah Opera's La Boheme, featuring some of opera's best-loved music, October 7th through the 15th at the Capitol Theater. Or win a 4-pack of tickets to the My Gluten-Free Expo, October 6th and 7th at the Mountain America Expo Center. Plus, win tickets to the Corn Bellies Fall Festival at Thanksgiving Point. Get started now. Text the word contest to 57500 or visit KSLNewsRadio.com/contests.
6:59, traffic and weather together every 10 minutes on the 9s, brought to you by Granite Credit Union's new Dividend Plus checking account. Heather?
Well, Amanda, the worst traffic we have right now is actually on Mountain View Corridor and Bangerter Highway. Northbound, you're going to see about 5 or 6 blocks of congestion heading through Kearns and West Valley City. But I-15 still hasn't seen a brake light in sight from Point of the Mountain into downtown Salt Lake, even though you have a few heavy pockets of traffic through that stretch. The 201 freeway also a smidge congested as you approach 7200 West in Magna. Jason.
And heavy at the gates of Hill Air Force Base, West Gate and South Gate. If you're trying to get on this morning, it's going to take you a little extra time. West Gate's been that way for a while, and the South Gate is the one that's now backing up. Southbound I-15 is rolling smoothly all the way through Weber and Davis counties at this point in time. No problems on the other highways or side streets. Eric?
No issues through Parley's Canyon, Provo Canyon on I-80 and 189 respectively if you're heading out to the Wasatch Back. I-15 in Utah County cruising along at a normal pace. Is your car due for some extra love? Burt Brothers is here for your vehicle's routine maintenance, all done by our ASC certified technicians. Burt Brothers, affordable, complete auto care done better. Eric Butler in the KSL Traffic Center.
We're going to be dry till the weekend with highs right around 85 degrees. And right now in Salt Lake City, getting started with 57.
KSL FM Midvale, KSL Salt Lake City. Listen at home on any smart speaker and in your car at 102.7 FM. This is KSL News Radio, Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
It's 7 o'clock on Utah's Morning News. Good morning. I'm Tim Hughes.
And I'm Amanda Dixon. KSL's top story on the 7 o'clock report.
A drag queen story time at a local Salt Lake bookstore became a potential crime scene after a bomb threat yesterday.
KSL News Radio's Peter Johnston is live with more. Peter?
Amanda, it's been 5 months since the King's English Bookstore started doing a drag queen story hour, but it looks like someone tried to stop this one with a fake bomb threat.
As you can imagine, staff is a little shook, and in the interest of taking care of my booksellers, I do feel the right thing to do is not open today.
That's store owner Calvin Crosby speaking with KSL TV. Salt Lake City police responded to a threat in the morning and cleared the place with a canine unit by noon. City Councilman Dan Dugan spoke up from the scene of the store about what needs to happen next.
Government leaders and business leaders, we all need to take a strong stance against this hatred of others.
Salt Lake Mayor Aaron Mendenhall tweeted that city officials are working with the store to reschedule the spoiled event. Reporting live, Peter Johnston, KSL News Radio.
More than 20 meeting houses for the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints in the Salt Lake Valley have been vandalized in just the last week. KSL News Radio's Adam Small is live with the details. Adam?
Tim, many of these break-ins have happened in Harriman, and police think they could be connected. Airmen police tell the Salt Lake Tribune the 22 buildings that were actually all broken into were damaged, but next to nothing of value was stolen. Only a TV was taken in one case. Police are investigating, but they say it can be hard to figure out exactly when each one happened. People that go to these church buildings in the southwest corner of the valley are asked to be vigilant and report anything suspicious to police. Reporting live, Adam Small, KSL News Radio.
An Ogden family is out of their home this morning after it caught fire yesterday. Crews quickly got the flames knocked down and rescued cats from inside the home near 5th West and 24th Street. They had to shut down surrounding streets while working on the fire. No one was hurt, and crews say the family will be able to get back inside soon.
Pregnancy-related deaths are on the rise across the country. KSL News Radio's Britt Johnson tells us there is one thing that seems to be driving the numbers higher.
I spoke with Associate Professor with the U of U Elevate Maternal Health Research Center of Excellence, Tori Metz.
The most common cause of maternal deaths is drug overdose.
The National Institute of Child Health and Human Development reports that these cases have risen 190% since 2010. Metz says there are disparities showing a higher percentage of people of color dying this way. The U of U Elevate Maternal Health Research Center of Excellence has received funding from the National Institutes of Health and has started bringing education and health services to communities. They hope they can destigmatize the issue so that people will feel comfortable seeking the care they need. Britt Johnson, KSL News Radio.
The United States needs more blood donations. Utah is no exception to this trend. KSL News Radio's Claire Scott has more.
The American Red Cross is asking for your help. Utah-Nevada Regional Donor Services Executive Ryan Warren says that the U.S. needs over 12,000 units of blood each day to meet the needs of the 2,500 hospitals in the country. And the needed supply in Utah is constant. Warren says giving blood can be scary, but recommends you bring along a friend if you're feeling nervous.
Red Cross officials say blood also has a limited shelf life, so donors will never be turned away.
We have some breaking news this hour. Ukraine says the commander of Russia's Black Sea Fleet was killed on Friday when Ukrainian forces attacked the naval headquarters in Crimea. Ukrainian Special Operations Forces say almost 36 other officers were also killed in the strike. The attack happened at Russia's Black Sea headquarters, which is positioned on land that was illegally annexed by Russia back in 2014.
The 140-day writers' strike is over. The Writers Guild of America and major studios and streamers reached a tentative agreement on a new 3-year contract that shut down major studios and some TV shows. Kevin Carr has more.
The two organizations hammered out their final differences in terms of residual pay, staffing requirements, and the use of AI. Details of the agreement are not yet public. The WGA membership still has to ratify the final language, which will take several days.
The use of artificial intelligence was the last sticking point before both sides came to an agreement. The end of the strike will end the SAG-AFTRA walkout and put Hollywood back to work.
KSL weather now with Brett Benson. Warmer than usual days with sunshine to start the week.
We're looking for a lot of sunshine. Temperatures are going to be running about 10 degrees above average for this time of year, for northern Utah anyway, for much of the work week. We will see some changes towards the latter half of the work week as that high pressure continues to track off to the east. We get a little more under the storm system out of the Pacific Northwest will start having a stronger impact on us.
Today's high will hit 85 degrees.
First look traffic on the 7 o'clock report, and here's Heather Kelly.
We've got our first slowdowns of the morning southbound I-15 between Kaysville and Farmington. The 201 freeway also seeing slowing now as you leave Mountain View Corridor area and head east toward the West Side Belt. But the northbound drive on I-15 is at speed from Payson all the way into downtown Salt Lake. Heather Kelly in the KSL Traffic Center.
Migrant crossings from Mexico are surging and straining resources in places where asylum seekers are arriving at the border. It's raising concerns that the effort to stem the tide of migration is taking away from efforts to stop other things from crossing the border.
Thousands of migrants crossing the U.S.-Mexico border daily, straining resources.
This isn't sustainable.
Border Patrol Chief Jason Owens on ABC's This Week. House Intelligence Committee Chair Congressman Mike Turner.
Right now, with this migrant immigration that's occurring on the border, it's a national security threat.
The concern that smugglers are sending thousands of migrants across in some areas to divert law enforcement's attention from elsewhere to bring in, says Chief Owens.
Narcotics, fentanyl, bulk cash, weapons.
Owens says everybody's overwhelmed. Dave Packer, ABC News.
There's another labor action to tell you about in the U.S. Store owners in Oakland, California are going on strike tomorrow to protest the spike in crime in their neighborhoods. Some 200 businesses have pledged to close down. Ali Shami Shami owns Salam Halal Market in West Oakland.
You know, even if the crime is not hit in my store, hit in other businesses is bad. You know, Oakland is beautiful. We have to keep it safe. You know, police have to do something. The mayor have to do something.
Shami says this year has been tough. They've had 3 robberies in the past 5 months.
Hooper residents will soon see a new 6% sales tax on their electric and gas bills starting in October. Hooper City Council approved the municipal energy sales and use tax. It's expected to bring in an extra $500,000 a year for the city. Some residents say city leaders started the tax with little public warning. Hooper's Mayor Dale Flowers says the city's spending has been shrinking over the past few years, and they need a bigger budget for infrastructure repairs.
A new group in Provo is aiming to inform renters about their rights. KSL News Radio's Michael Commit has more.
If you talk to anyone from Provo, then there's a decent chance they have a horror story about housing. Now, the Renters Advocacy Network aims to bring Provo's renters, especially students, up to speed about their rights. Tanner Bennett is the group's founder, and with 62% of the folks in Provo renting, he's focusing on addressing better housing code and zoning enforcement. More specific goals include requiring landlords to respond faster to urgent cases. Michael Commit, KSL News Radio.
A new children's mental health campus is being unveiled this morning. KSL News Radio's Alessandra Harris has the details.
This new mental health campus is a multi-million-dollar project that has been in the works for several years. As part of the Children's Center Utah, the campus will work to provide comprehensive mental health support for infants, toddlers, preschoolers, and their families.
The unveiling this morning is at 10 in West Valley City. Coming up on 7:09, let's get a look at traffic and weather together, brought to you by Granite Credit Union's new Dividend Plus checking account. It's Heather Kelly in the Traffic Center.
Well, Tim, we are seeing quite a bit more traffic on the roadways than we did 20 minutes ago or so. The best news is, though, I-15, which has most of your traffic, it is still at speed the entire way from Point of the Mountain into downtown Salt Lake, so that's about 20 to 22 minutes. But you do have some congestion now on the 201 freeway eastbound, coming out of Magna over toward the west side belt. Bangerter Highway, Mountain View corridors always are very congested as you move through the West Valley area. Jason.
Now, in addition to the delays getting on the base at the Westgate and Southgate of Hill Air Force Base, we now have an accident. This one's in Clearfield. The 7th South ramp to get onto southbound I-15. It looks like a semi involved. It's off to the right shoulder, but keep an eye out as you pass through there. And increased volume now. Southbound side of I-15 is going to drop you just below 70 miles an hour as you approach 2nd North in Kaysville. Eric?
Not seeing a major difficulties in Utah County. It's starting to get a little bit thicker on Geneva Road right next to the freeway as you work your way from the Vineyard Norm up into Linden. But most of the streets are moving along at a pretty decent pace. And I-15, you're still looking at a 28-minute drive if you're northbound from Payson up to Point of the Mountain. The 7th annual My Gluten-Free World Expo is being held October 6th and 7th at the Mountain America Expo Center in Sandy. See over 100 vendors showcasing the best of gluten-free. Eric Butler in the KSL Traffic Center.
As we head through the 5 o'clock hour, temperatures are going to be in the low 60s under partly cloudy skies. We're going to stay there through 6, 7, and 8 o'clock. Upper 50s for 8, mid 50s for 9. Ultimate lows will be chilly in the mid to upper 40s. With your hourly forecast on the 5 o'clock report, I'm Kevin Eubank.
Sky's starting to lighten up a little bit out there. 57 degrees this hour.
Coming up in just a moment, we've been reporting for you on the end of the writer's strike, but let's get you an update on the auto strike that's happening in Detroit and maybe expanding. More on that just ahead on KSL News Radio.
First, a bit of sports here. Utes football moves up a notch to number 10 on the AP Top 25 college football poll. So far, the undefeated season has come without their QB1, Cam Rising. KSL News Radio's Utes insider Michelle Bodkin says they don't know exactly when their star quarterback will come back. It's up to the Docs.
There's maybe like 1 or 2 things that they still want to see him be able to do with some consistency that he hasn't been able to show yet, and that's why he hasn't gotten the clearance.
There was a little bit of excitement out on the field because he came out for pregame warm-ups, and he had uniform and helmet and everything on, but
But no go.
And then they went back in.
What is he not able to do that they want him to be able to do?
I don't know. I mean, we're not getting any of that inside information right now from the Docs or the team. Michelle, by the way, says he may not be back in time for the big road trip to face number 19 Oregon State, the Beavers, on Friday.
Wouldn't it be great if he could come back this weekend?
Yeah, although part of me, and they're going to need him in Corvallis, but part of me wants that first game back to be at home.
Oh,
just
right.
because it
So
will
you
be
can play
such a moment.
Yeah. Well, Brighton ski resort officials say helicopters will be moving ski towers in and out of the resort area today while crews work on building new trails. Officials say to avoid crest trails today to avoid any of these potential hazards.
It was, believe it or not, Nun 2 that took the top spot at the box office this weekend.
The church needs another.
The Nun 2 barely beat out Expendables 4 with movie audiences this weekend. The difference is that The Nun 2 has been out for 3 weeks and Expendables 4 is new and was expected to have a bigger opening weekend. The Nun 2 made $8.4 million domestically, according to studio estimates, while Expendables 4 earned $8.3 million.
Come with me to a seance. Spot the con I can't.
Detective, you are here to discredit me, but I can talk to the dead.
A Haunting in Venice takes the number 3 spot this week.
So, whatever it is that you and your friends do, please do it somewhere else.
The Equalizer 3 is in 4th, and Barbie is in 5th. I'm Archie Zaraletta.
Barbie is still in the
Still
top
there.
5. That's amazing. Trending this hour on the 7 o'clock report. Taylor Swift was if you were on social media at all last night, you saw the video. She was spotted at last night's Kansas City Chiefs game with tight end Travis Kelce's mother.
Was it just me, or did Mom look a little uncomfortable at times?
Well, wouldn't you? Wouldn't you be?
Yeah.
She's probably a fan.
Imagine when your son says, by the way, Ma, Taylor Swift is going to come sit next to you for the game on
So there'll
Sunday.
be a lot of bodyguards.
Oh, my gosh. Her show of support comes after weeks of dating rumors, which has not yet been publicly confirmed. Kelce tells ESPN that after seeing her rock the stage at the Arrowhead Stadium, he wanted to see her to see him do the same.
Well, I guess we have more information about the Super Bowl, and that is Usher is headed to the Super Bowl. The NFL announced yesterday that the singer will take the stage at the Las Vegas game in February. Usher says it's an honor to check a Super Bowl performance off his bucket list and can't wait to bring a great show to the world.
It does make you a part of a small fraternity, doesn't it?
Oh, for sure.
When you get that opportunity. All right, KSL News Time coming up on 7:15. The 3 things you need to know this hour. First,
cops and a canine team raided a drag queen story hour at a local Salt Lake City bookstore yesterday after someone made a bomb threat. No bomb turned up. I'm KSL News Radio's Peter Johnston.
Second, officials say more than 20 meeting houses for the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints in the Salt Lake Valley have been vandalized in just the last week.
Third, it's a look at traffic and weather together.
Well, we do have a crash on the on-ramp from 700 South in Clearfield to go southbound I-15. All the vehicles are on the right shoulder. They're not causing any delays, and you won't see too many other delays on any of the freeways across the Wasatch Front. Heather Kelly in the KSL Traffic Center.
Sunny skies and warm temperatures to start the week. I'm Brett Benson.
And right now, 57 degrees.
With KSL's top national stories.
From ABC News, I'm Sherry Preston. Picketing suspended by the Writers Guild as they announce a tentative deal with Hollywood producers. It'll be some time before shows are back, especially since the actors' strike continues. But ABC's Kenna Whitworth in Los Angeles says the signs appear promising.
While terms of the deal have yet to be made public, the New York Times reporting the agreement contains most of what was demanded by the union, including increases in royalty payments for streaming content and guarantees that artificial intelligence will not encroach on writers' credits and compensation.
Hollywood actors remain on strike. Members of the United Auto Workers continuing their pickets as well. And this week, they'll be getting some high-profile support. ABC's Terry Moran is at a Ford plant in Wayne, Michigan.
It's an extraordinary week here, day 10 of this strike. President Biden, both presidential frontrunners are going to be here to stand with striking auto workers. Biden's coming tomorrow, and he'll be on the picket line, a president on the picket line. That's something no president has done in living memory. And Donald Trump, he'll be here on Wednesday to give a speech to about 500 union workers and other supporters. That's a sign of how much the Republican Party has changed under Trump. And out here on the picket lines, it's not about politics. They don't want to talk about politics. They're hoping for progress, and there's been some, but no real sign of a resolution yet.
Back in Washington, no sign of a resolution as well on keeping the government open past this weekend. House Republicans still resisting, says ABC Chief Congressional Correspondent Rachel Scott.
Allies to House Speaker Kevin McCarthy are now floating a proposal that would fund the government for the next 30 to 45 days, impose deeper spending cuts and also stricter border policies. But any deal would have to win over not only the far right of their conference, but also Democrats in the Senate. And right now, that doesn't appear to do either.
New Jersey Democratic Senator Bob Menendez holding a news conference today from his home district to be his first public comment since the corruption indictment handed up to him and his wife last week. You're listening to ABC News.
Time now for the KSL In-Depth. The Hollywood writers' strike may be over, but that nationwide automakers strike is expanding now to 38 new GM and Stellantis locations.
We get more from ABC's Terry Moran.
It's an extraordinary week here, day 10 of this strike. As you say, President Biden, both presidential front runners are going to be here to stand with striking auto workers. Biden's coming tomorrow, and he'll be on the picket line, a president on the picket line. That's something no president has done in living memory. And Donald Trump, he'll be here on Wednesday to give a speech to about 500 union workers and other supporters. That's a sign of how much the Republican Party has changed under Trump. And out here on the picket lines, it's not about politics. They don't want to talk about politics. They're hoping for progress, and there's been some, but no real sign of a resolution yet. Negotiations continued over the weekend with Ford and the UAW reporting positive movement, but Ford issuing a statement last night saying, quote, significant gaps remain. As for GM and Chrysler Stellantis, it's a different story. The UAW expanding strikes to 38 new locations against those companies, 6,000 more workers out on strike at parts and distribution centers across 20 states, and that could impact consumers soon. Getting your car repaired or serviced, well, that could take longer and cost more as this strike goes on.
I'm thinking about the writer's strike too, Tim. And how, I mean, that went on for what? More than 6 months. How didn't people's habits change?
I think it was 6 weeks, right?
No, it was since last May.
Really?
Yeah. It was like 150 days.
Oh, wow.
Something like that. Anyway, that people's habits might have changed over that period of time. So if you used to watch The Tonight Show or whatever, that your habit has changed, that they may never get some of those viewers back.
Yeah, and if they do, it's going to be a while, obviously.
Right.
But it's also opened the door for a lot of programs that would never have seen the light of day.
Right, that's true. So I wonder how they juggle that.
So maybe there's some opportunity there. I'll tell you, if you had any doubt in your mind that we were in a presidential election cycle, which you should have no doubt, the fact that the sitting president is going to be on the picket lines with the auto workers and the leading candidate for the Republican nomination is going to be there on Wednesday instead of attending a debate.
Yeah.
It's all about, who loves you more
right.
to get your votes just in time for Election Day coming up a little more than a year away. Crazy times. We're going to continue to watch it, of course, on the In-Depth at 15 and 45.
7:19, traffic and weather together every 10 minutes on the 9s, brought to you by Granite Credit Union's new Dividend Plus checking account. Takes us back over to you, Heather.
Well, Amanda, we still have a bit of slowing on the 201 freeway eastbound as you approach 7200 West in Magna. Those delays only happen when the light turns red. Once you get past there, you do see the brake lights between Mountain View Corridor and Bangerter Highway, but that's really the only delay on any of the freeways that I'm seeing in the Salt Lake Valley. Out in Tooele County, we do have backups on SR 36 coming out of Stansbury Park, trying to get onto I-80, but that's really the only problem. Jason.
Okay, where do we start? Well, let's start with the west gate of Hill Air Force Base. It's still fairly crowded if you're trying to make your way onto the base. And Southgate is busy as well, although not quite as busy as it was. We are still seeing this accident. It is southbound on I-15 on-ramp at 7 South in Clearfield. And speaking of 7 South, it's fairly heavy right now if you were eastbound headed over towards I-15. The delays, however, that were southbound I-15 in Kaysville are gone. Eric?
In Utah County, you're looking at a normal drive as you head north from Provo and Orem up to Thanksgiving Point in the south part of Utah County, the Spanish Fork, Payson, Santaquin area. All of that looks good as well on the freeway. And the city streets look good heading over to the freeway throughout the county. And along the Wasatch back, US 40, no problems reported so far between Heber City and Park City. Attention Wasatch Front businesses and property managers. Don't wait for bad weather to schedule professional snow service with GoPave Utah. Your complete parking lot safety starts with GoPaveUtah.com. Eric Clutler in the KSL Traffic Center.
High pressure ridge will be the main player in our weather for the majority of the week. We're going to keep it sunny today, 85 for an afternoon high, mid-80s on Tuesday as well. Wednesday, mid-80s, sunny, and we'll pick up some breezy conditions as well, especially as we get towards the middle part of the week. Winds will increase a little bit out of the north on Thursday, 78. Then low 70s on Friday with increasing clouds. Chance of showers developing by the weekend. Upper 60s on Saturday and 62 with rain showers possible on Sunday. From the KSL Weather Center, I'm Brett Benson.
Right now in Salt Lake City, just ahead of the sunrise, 57 degrees. The 7-day forecast brought to you by Performance Automotive Bountiful.
So this weekend is the 193rd Semi-Annual General Conference of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. You'll hear all of the sessions of Congress, of course, here on KSL News Radio, plus some really interesting programming in between sessions, including on Saturday. Dave and Dujanovic are hosting a show at 1 o'clock called Dieting by Design, Fads, Trends, and the Body Image Battle.
Well, that's interesting.
They're going to talk about some of these new or in-demand drugs like Ozempic and Wegovy and who they work for and who they don't work for. I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, the first session of General Conference coming up 10 o'clock Saturday morning, as always, here on KSL. So make your plans to join us all weekend long. Coming up, we'll check money news here on KSL. The market's closed today for Yom Kippur. But we will continue to watch money news headlines for you throughout the day.
This is Derek Miller speaking on business. The day Zions Bank opened for business in 1873, the Deseret News reported that it promises to be one of the most important and beneficial institutions ever established in this part of the Union. Zions Bank Executive Vice President Rob Bruff is here to mark the 150th anniversary.
As Zions Bank commemorates its 150th anniversary in 2023, we are looking ahead. We pledge to continue to create value for the next 150 years. We recognize our responsibility as a leader in our communities and as the oldest financial institution headquartered in the Intermountain West. So to continue our legacy of stewardship, we are making 5 commitments to our future. First, Zions Bank commits to bolstering business growth and innovation. We will continue to support our businesses and industries that create jobs, grow our economy, and foster a sustainable future. We also commit to making our clients stronger and to fostering economic opportunity for all. We're here to help clients from all backgrounds and every rung of the economic ladder realize their dreams. We commit to supporting our valued employees, and we commit to building our communities. You'll hear more about Zions Bank's 150th anniversary celebration throughout the year.
New companies can learn from Zions Bank's recipe for longevity. Stay focused on customer service, grow the company along with the community, and invest in employee talent. I'm Derek Miller with the Salt Lake Chamber, speaking on business.
Tonight is a night of crazy good premieres on NBC.
First, The Voice is back.
Yes, it is, with Gwen Stefani, John Legend, Niall Horan, and new coach Reba McEntire.
Love her. Then it's the premiere of The Irrational.
Jesse L. Martin stars as a brilliant professor who's an expert in human behavior.
And helps solve crimes no one else can crack.
Watch once, you will be hooked.
The Irrational premieres after the return of The Voice.
Tonight on NBC.
Then stay tuned for KSL 5 News at 10 with this special investigative report.
We've all felt the pain of a cracked windshield, but for one Utah driver, 1, 2, 3 claims and he was out.
We're dropping your comprehensive and you'll have to figure it out.
But isn't that what insurance is for?
I pay extra for business insurance, so I thought they already calculated all that.
What you need to know to avoid cracks in your coverage.
Get Gephardt, cracks in your coverage, tonight on KSL 5 News at 10.
Watching Utah's Money, brought to you by Trajan Wealth, your trusted local fiduciary advisors, TrajanWealth.com. Purdue Farms and Tyson Foods are being investigated for violating child labor laws. According to the Labor Department, the companies employed migrant children to clean meat processing plants overnight. Both of these plants are in Virginia.
Firefighters are trying to get ahead of the flames by using artificial intelligence to fight wildfires. AI cameras have been developed to scan horizons for signs of smoke and even detect fires from space.
A string of recent lawsuits wants to make sure that food actually looks how it is advertised. People have been suing many food companies, saying they've been misrepresenting food in their marketing. These lawsuits are mainly targeting Taco Bell, Wendy's, McDonald's, Burger King, and Arby's.
Have you ever seen documentaries on what it takes for these
Oh, yeah.
photographers to do this
In
kind
fact,
of
I
stuff?
worked for a steakhouse many, many years ago and was there when they shot the commercials.
Yeah.
What they did to the steaks and the baked potatoes to make them look sizzling. Yeah. You don't want to know.
You wouldn't want to know.
You don't want to know.
Like Vaseline on your on your steak. That's lovely. All right, let's see. We mentioned that the markets are going to be closed today, so we won't have an opening bell, but we do have futures movement, and they're all down. The Dow is off 105, which is about 0.3. The S&P is off by 0.4 right now, and the NASDAQ is down about the same percentage-wise. It's off 63 points this hour.
And I think dressing the food is a normal thing. It only becomes a problem if the food does not represent what you would get when you come and buy it at the store. So
Yeah.
if there's some kind of, deception going on, then it's a problem.
Yeah, and I think people have more complaints probably about the size of the portions.
Yeah, I think that's part of it.
If it looks like a giant burger, and when you order it, it comes in a little...
teeny burger.
See, I didn't get the kiddie version of this.
Let's see. Coming up in a moment, the 201 freeway is experiencing usual slowdowns at this hour, eastbound from 56 West over to the Bangerter exit. We'll check that just ahead on KSL News Radio. Utah's Morning News is sponsored by BetterHelp. That's BetterHelp, H-E-L-P. And this is a wonderful way for you to get some help in your life with major life decisions, or if you feel stuck, or with relationships, by accessing, therapy online.
Well, I found in the past, something's not right.
Yeah.
Sure
you do. You're not sleeping well.
And you may not have the joy of things that used to bring you joy, and you just can't identify what that cloud is that's hanging over you. And that third party that can step in and help identify how to break through that is very, very helpful.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
And now you have the opportunity to do it from your own home.
Which, let me tell you, I took advantage of therapy years ago, and I remember benefiting from it. But it was difficult to find time to drive all the way there and drive all the way back. That with BetterHelp, if you're thinking about therapy, give BetterHelp a try.
Well, and the other thing is you don't have to wait forever to get, get an appointment. If you're thinking about starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online, designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited to your schedule.
You just fill out a brief questionnaire and to get matched with a licensed therapist. And then if by some reason you don't jive with that therapist, you can change therapists anytime for no additional charge.
Yeah, that's a great feature, too. Get a break from your thoughts with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com, Salt Lake, today to get 10% off your first month.
That is, I think it's /Tim and Amanda now. BetterHelp.com /Tim and Amanda. That's BetterHelp.com /Tim and Amanda.
This weekend, take a needed break, relax and refresh with the 193rd Semi-Annual General Conference of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. KSL's coverage begins Saturday morning at 9:30 with live sessions all weekend. We have you covered at 102.7 FM or on the app for KSL News Radio.
Join Mitch Harper this Thursday at Macy's in Lehigh, 760 East Main Street from 4 to 7 for fun, prizes, and chances to win tickets to the BYU Cincinnati Bearcats football game or a Macy's gift card.
Time again for traffic and weather together here, brought to you by Granite Credit Union's new Dividend Plus checking account. How are we looking out there, Heather?
We're looking pretty good, Tim. For drivers in the Salt Lake Valley, the 201 freeway has most of the delays at the moment. They start at Mountain View Corridor heading east toward Bangerter Highway. And then you're going to see just your typical congestion spots on Bangerter Highway, Mountain View Corridor heading north through Kearns and West Valley City. I-15 now has a few brake lights showing up between Draper and Sandy, as well as between Murray and South Salt Lake, but there are no accidents reported. Jason.
Still fairly heavy at both gates of Hill Air Force Base, the west and south gates there. And, of course, it's also heavy on 7 South in Clearfield eastbound as you head over towards I-15. And looking at this accident on the on-ramp there, 7 South, go southbound I-15. Running slowly now through Kaysville and also once you get down into the Rose Park areas. Eric.
No problems in Utah County right now. I-15 cruising right along from Provo to Point of the Mountain. That's a 20-minute drive if you're getting on at University Avenue. Heading out to the Wasatch Back so far. Looks good on I-80 out to Park City. And if you're using 189 to go to the Heber City area, that's also good through Provo Canyon. You deserve an elegant night out on the town. Your couch will be there when you get back. Don't miss grand performances at Utah Opera. Get your tickets at utahopera.org. Eric Butler in the KSL Traffic Center.
Let's get a look at that forecast. Beautiful today. A high of 85. The same tomorrow. Lots of sunshine. Right now, 57 downtown.
You're listening to Utah's Morning News with Tim Hughes and Amanda Dixon on KSL News Radio, 102.7 FM and 1160 AM.
Good morning, KSL News Time, 7:30.
KSL's top story this hour.
NASA has brought home an asteroid sample for the very first time, and they did it right here in Utah.
KSL News Radio's Adam Small was in Dugway yesterday when the vessel returned to Earth and joins us live with the details. Adam?
Amanda, it was all cheers when the sample vessel released by OSIRIS-REx landed on the desert sands of the Dugway Proving Ground. That's how it sounded in the media tent. Believe it or not, the cheers were 3 times as large just when the parachute of this thing deployed. That's the end of a 7-year mission that brings a physical asteroid sample to Earth with material that's around 4.5 billion years old. And Dr. Daniel Glavo in NASA's Goddard Space Flight Center tells me this sample could help scientists learn how life on Earth came to be in the first place.
One theory is that asteroids like Bennu could have brought in the chemical building blocks of life. Amino acids make up proteins, the components of our genetic code in DNA and RNA.
The sample is being flown to the Johnson Space Center in Houston today. Reporting live, Adam Small, KSL News Radio.
Is this the real life? This is interesting. A surprising member of OSIRIS-REx asteroid team is Queen's guitarist. When he's not jamming out on stage, Brian May works as an astrophysicist.
I can't be with you today. I wish I could. I'm rehearsing for a Queen tour, but my heart's there with you as this precious sample is recovered. Happy sample return day, and congratulations to all who worked so incredibly hard on this mission.
Wow.
How cool is that?
That is cool.
That's Brian May on NASA TV. He didn't come to Utah for the landing because he was busy practicing for a Queen tour. May says he created images from spacecraft data that let the leader's mission find a safe place to land and collect a sample.
Scientists say we could start seeing more glimmers of the northern lights. Sunspot observations, which are a key indicator of northern lights, have gone up since the end of 2022. Scientists say if that trend continues, more people will see the lights more often in more places over the next 18 months.
Police say a bus driver passed out while driving to pick up students from a Provo school, but his granddaughter and a stranger on a moped jumped into action to help stop the bus. KSL News Radio's Peter Johnston joins us live with this amazing story. Peter?
Tim, 82-year-old Terry Burns tells KSL TV that it was a normal drive to pick up kids from Freedom Prep Elementary.
But when I got going down the road, all of a sudden, things started coming in on me.
Burns blacked out, and nearby moped driver Connor Morris noticed something was wrong very quick.
At first, he actually ran over a road sign, went through the roundabout, going pretty slow, and then I saw him pop up on the curb and start heading towards the fence.
Morris hit the gas and caught up to the bus, and when the doors opened to him, he and Burns' granddaughter helped bring the bus to a halt on the side of the road. Burns says he was looking at retirement earlier, but this incident has made the decision for him. Reporting live from downtown Salt Lake, Peter Johnston, KSL News Radio.
A heads up for Provo drivers. The city says they'll be closing parts of Center Street today to work on a raised crosswalk. Crews say to expect a full road closure from University Avenue to Freedom Boulevard through October 9th. Today, crews will be working on the raised crosswalk at 50 West.
KSL's top national stories this hour. A new poll shows former President Trump with a near double-digit lead over President Biden. ABC's Faith Abube has more on ABC News Washington Post poll.
In a hypothetical general election matchup, the poll found Trump leading Biden 51-42. Experts say several factors may be at play, including Biden's poor performance ratings, concerns about the economy, and the crisis on the southern border. Meanwhile, a poll released yesterday by NBC shows Biden and Trump in a dead heat at 46%. But that poll also found Trump expanding his lead over the Republican primary field, including over Chris Christie, by more than 40 points.
Another poll shows 62% of Democrats and Democrat-leaning independents say they would rather see someone other than President Biden have the nomination.
The Biden administration is allocating $1.5 billion to railroad safety projects. The funding mostly comes from the 2021 infrastructure law and will also help boost rail capacity across the country. Railroad safety has become a concern nationwide since a Norfolk Southern train derailed in Ohio in February and caught fire after spilling hazardous chemicals.
First look traffic. Let's go to Heather Kelly.
And we've got a crash just called out at 7400 South, 700 West. You'll need to use caution there. And slowing on Bangerter Highway northbound through Taylorsville. Heather Kelly in the KSL Traffic Center.
KSL News Time now is 7:35. University of Utah football has jumped into the top 10 of the AP College Football Top 25. KSL News Radio's Mark Jackson reports the team has a big road test this week.
The team has managed to win without star quarterback Cam Rising. After Saturday's home win over UCLA, the 4-0 Utes traveled to number 19 Oregon State. The Utes would have a big advantage if they start Rising. But KSL News Radio's Utes insider Michelle Botkin says after this week, it does get easier, but not for long.
After that, you have your bye week, and then you have Cal back. And once you get through Cal, then you're looking at USC, Oregon, and Washington.
Friday's kickoff in Corvallis is set for 7 o'clock.
It's time to begin gathering the harvest from our gardens and shutting down our sprinkler systems. KSL News Radio's Don Brinkerhoff reports.
With a little warm-up expected later in the week, KSL greenhouse host Ton Bettis says we may get another week or two out of our gardens, but if the overnight temperatures drop much further...
If you're in danger of frost, I would go ahead and just cover them with a tarp or something to get them through that.
He says we should be shutting down our sprinkler systems, but if there's a tree in your lawn, it will need to be watered until we start getting regular rain and snow.
It's an absolute no-no to fertilize trees, shrubs, conifers in the fall.
Don Brinkerhoff, KSL News Radio.
2 new community fishing ponds have been approved by the Utah Wildlife Board. The ponds will be in Roosevelt and West Haven. Division of Wildlife's Public Information Officer Faith Heaton-Jolly says they will open next year.
These ponds really just provide a great opportunity for really close to home accessible fishing for residents in the state, particularly as our urban areas continue to grow around Utah. Just a nice option to kind of bring the outdoors closer to people.
Jolly says people 12 years and older need a fishing license to fish at these ponds. Children 11 and under can fish there with their families.
A Utah woman is encouraging all pet owners to be careful around Utah's reservoirs.
Samantha Cragen from Brigham City is asking all pet owners to be careful with their dogs around these bodies of water. She's left with a $2,000 vet bill and a recovering blue heeler border collie mix named Scout after the 1-year-old puppy got a skin condition caused by algae. Scout's conditions didn't show until a few days after they had visited Pelican Beach, and what started as a fever turned into visible pain and bloody wounds. Cragen says you shouldn't allow your dog around any big body of water. Michael Commit, KSL News Radio.
Looks like we have one crash right now on the on-ramp from 7th South to go southbound I-15 in Clearfield. We'll check that and the rest of your commute just ahead.
Breaking news is just one ask away.
Playing KSL News Radio.
Tensions were high during a Sandy City Council meeting.
Temperatures are going to start cooling in your home. Tell Alexa, play KSL News Radio. Then listen in your car at 102.7 FM.
Embrace the majesty of the great outdoors and celebrate Bryce Canyon National Park's 100th birthday at Ruby's Inn. Skip the long lines and expensive hotel rooms and escape to the American West. Ride, hike, bike, and play among the towering hoodoos right in Ruby's backyard. Embrace your inner cowboy and take a guided horseback tour across the rim of Bryce Canyon. And no trip to Ruby's Inn is complete without dinner and a show at Ebenezer's Barn and Grill. After a long day of adventure, spend your nights in a cozy hotel room or camp out in a rustic campground. With affordable and varied lodging options, any family will feel right at home at Ruby's Inn. For some extra savings, be sure to take advantage of the hot deals running throughout the year. This year, treat your family to the adventure of a lifetime. Book your trip today at ruby'sinn.com. That's ruby'sinn.com.
We are following up on what turned out to be a big weekend at Dugway with the returning of parts of an asteroid, and our Adam Small was actually there. And we're getting his perspective on that from over the weekend. He'll join us again this morning with more details.
7:39, traffic and weather together every 10 minutes on the 9s, brought to you by Granite Credit Union's new Dividend Plus checking account. Heather?
Well, we're reaching the peak of our rush hour delays right now, so we are seeing slowdowns northbound I-15 from Draper into Sandy, again from the I-215 South Interchange in Murray all the way into South Salt Lake. The 201 freeway also kind of at a crawl right now coming out of Magna over to Bangerter Highway, and then Bangerter Highway is just a parking lot right now between 5400 and 4700 South. Jason.
Busyness continues at the west and south gates of Hill Air Force Base, but the accident on the on-ramp 7 South in Clearfield to southbound I-15 is gone. There is still one emergency vehicle there, but all the cars have driven away, including the semi that was there. Southbound I-15 going to run pretty heavy right now, around 2nd North in Kaysville. Once you get past the ponds, you're going to be pretty clear after that. Until you get to the North Interchange, then you're dropping below 70 miles an hour again, until you get down to about 10th North. Eric?
We got some extra congestion now happening northbound Foothill Drive from about 2100 south up to 1300 south. The rest of the way up to Mario Capecchi and the university area, that's all looking good. Along the 215 eastbound, no accidents reported northbound. We do have slowdowns in Utah County, eastbound Mountain View corridor as you approach Redwood Road, and then past that as Mountain View turns into 2100 north as you head over to 2300 west and then the freeway. It's the fall sales event at Murdoch Chevrolet. Right now, take up to $3,000 off plus 3.9% for 6 years on Silverado 1500s at Murdoch Chevrolet in Logan Woods Cross or online at murdochchev.com. Eric Butler in the KSL Traffic Center.
High pressure is in control over much of the western U.S. We're going to see a lot of sunshine today. That high pressure is going to move off to the east just a little bit, so we'll get some breezy conditions. 85 with sunny skies for an afternoon high. From the KSL Weather Center, I'm Brett Benson.
And right now in Salt Lake City, 57 degrees.
Exciting win for the Utes over UCLA this weekend. We're going to talk to a KSL Utes insider, Michelle Botkin, coming up next.
Stay with us on KSL, streaming online at KSLNewsRadio.com and in your car, of course, at 102.7 FM. This is KSL News Radio, Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
Hi, I'm Utah tax attorney Jordan Wilcox. When the IRS invades your life, it's never good news. It's not just you.
My husband passed away. He had been ill for quite some time. And he did the taxes, but he forgot to send them in. He never sent the forms in. And this was the beginning of my nightmare.
Don't face the IRS alone. With everything in your life at stake, don't trust just anyone.
I got all these letters from the IRS telling me I owed them $63,000. I had a good friend that she said, "You need an attorney." She said, "Call Jordan Wilcox."
You need someone to fight for you.
He said, "Cynthia, we're going to give him $3,000. How does that sound?" I started crying because I was overwhelmed.
Visit taxhelput.com and get relief today. Let's solve your tax problems now. Visit taxhelput.com.
You have it made in the shade with Jordan Wilcox.
That's taxhelput.com.
Jeff Kaplan's Minute of News is brought to you by the law offices of Jordan Wilcox.
It's not enough to sit on the couch and watch TV shows or sit through movies. No. Now you have to experience your entertainment. Thousands of Utahns flock to the Salt Palace for FanX, many dressed as Chewie, Spock, Leia, Spider-Man, and I love when they walk by the KSL studio. It's a science fiction fashion show right outside the window here, but spending hundreds of dollars at FanX for a picture with the cast of Back to the Future, including Michael J. Fox, that's not enough. We need a bigger experience. So get ready for the Friends experience coming to the Gateway next month.
No one told you life was gonna be this way.
Through January, you can visit a recreated set featuring Joey and Chandler's apartment, the Central Perk coffee shop, and more. Tickets are $25 and higher, but the website says it'll bring you one step closer to Monica and Rachel and the gang. And isn't that what it's all about? Feeling closer to your make-believe friends.
I'll be there for you.
The newest wrinkle, next weekend the NFL creates an experience on Disney+. The characters from Toy Story are going to reenact the Falcons-Jaguars game in real time. Thanks to chips embedded in the real players' uniforms, Buzz, Woody, and the gang will play the exact same football game in Andy's room, only lagging behind the real action by about 30 seconds. The technology is amazing, but more important, almost all that matters, it's an experience that brings you closer to your make-believe buddies.
You got a friend in me.
Jeff Kaplan's Minute of News, only on KSL News Radio.
Just back this afternoon. Make sure you're listening on your way home between 3 and 7 o'clock. KSL News Time is 7:45. The three things you need to know this hour. First,
pet owners are being encouraged to keep their dogs out of open bodies of water and safe from algae-caused diseases. I'm KSL News Radio's Michael Commit.
Second, the United Auto Workers strike is expanding to 38 new GM and Stellantis plants.
Third, it's traffic and weather together.
And we're looking pretty good overall on all the major roadways, but we do have some slowdowns northbound I-15 from 7200 south in Midvale to 5400 south in Murray. And the 201 freeway is crawling along right now as you come out of Magna and head toward the West Side Belt. Heather Kelly in the KSL Traffic Center.
A warming trend for the work week. I'm Brett Benson.
Right now, 57 downtown.
With KSL's top national stories.
In a couple of hours, New Jersey Governor Bob Menendez will hold a news conference speaking to reporters for the first time since his indictment on corruption charges. He and his wife have court appearances on Wednesday. Not much movement on averting a government shutdown in Washington over the weekend, but there is a tentative deal in place to resolve the writer's strike in Hollywood. ABC's Kana Whitworth has the latest from Los Angeles.
We saw marathon negotiations over the weekend, and now the two sides reaching this tentative deal. It's a 3-year contract that still has to be approved by the Guild, but the picketing is suspended immediately.
The actors are still on strike, and so are members of the United Auto Workers. Their pickets expanded last week. This week, both President Biden and former President Trump will visit striking Michigan workers. They'll be there on different days, however. This is the first day that people from parts of fire-ravaged Lahaina will be allowed back to see the remains of their homes since the deadly wildfires that devastated the city earlier this summer. Sherry Preston, ABC News.
All right, time for the KSL In-Depth. The Utah football team has climbed up to number 10 in the AP Top 25 college football poll after their win this weekend.
Joining us live on the KSL Newsline is KSL Utes insider Michelle Bodkin. Michelle, I just asked him off the air, do you think Utah has the best defense in the country?
They certainly have one of them. They've just been so nasty, so aggressive. They've really lived up to the RSNB motto that Morgan Scalley's implemented: relentless, smart, nasty ball hawks. They've done all of that. So they've been really, really good the first couple of weeks.
Well, and at the end of the day on Saturday, they had held UCLA to 9 yards rushing in that game, 7 sacks, and on that last series, which was, they had to make a stand. 3 of the 4 plays were sacks. I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah. They just have a real motor. And the crazy thing is that defensive line, and especially those defensive ends, those are not the starters. So technically, Utah's best players still haven't even really played yet for that defensive front. So, and they're already leading the country in sacks. It's absolutely wild.
Talking about first-stringers not playing, what's the latest on Cam Rising?
Everything I've heard, he is so close. He's day to day, and there's just like 1 or 2 things that his doctors and his surgeons want to see. And it's like he's just stuck on this last little part. And I know it's frustrating for him. It's frustrating for the team. But hopefully soon he can kind of get over that last little hump and be cleared to play.
Yeah, Whit mentioned that there was a leak that he was not cleared to play on ESPN. He was not happy about. And so they brought him out in uniform for pregame warm-ups. And then when they went back, after pregame warm-ups, he got into his street clothes and you could hear the sigh, I think, in the stadium, which was wild. But Nate's going to be the guy here, and it was clear, even though he was mishandling some footballs in that game against UCLA, that they don't want to do anything to shake his confidence right now.
Yeah, I think, with Nate, he's obviously a talent. You can see that he does little things very, very well. And I think one of the things that he's best at is he's just unflappable. He doesn't get rattled. He feels pressure, I think, pretty well. And he just doesn't he doesn't panic, which is really pretty rare, I think, for someone that's as young as he is in his career and kind of starting out. But it's all about confidence building. Let's help show you that, you can take the ball and run it for X amount of yards, or hand it off and know that it's going to go for X amount of yards, or you can complete, X, Y, and Z type of pass. Mm-hmm. It's just about doing little things to build his confidence and make him feel like he can do this job. And so far, so good. I mean, it's not been anything flashy. Yes, there are some ball security issues that still need to be worked out. But again, this is a guy that's only had his second start, And when you have your first start against Weber State and then you kind of jump up to a team like UCLA, that's a pretty big jump.
Yeah, really. Wow, well, it was a great game, Michelle, and we always appreciate your coverage. At KSL Utes insider Michelle Bodkin with us.
And that game on the road on Friday in Corvallis against Oregon State is a big game.
Yeah.
Goodness. All right, 7:49. Let's see how things are doing on the roads out there with traffic and weather together. Brought to you by Granite Credit Union's new Dividend Plus checking account. Here's Heather Kelly.
Well, it looks more like a typical commute now, especially on the 201 freeway eastbound as you come out of Magna, head all the way over to I-15. That entire stretch is well below the posted speed limit. Northbound I-15 also has off and on delays coming over the point of the mountain from Utah County, making your way through Draper and then Midvale, Murray, South Salt Lake. And Bangerter Highway also pretty congested northbound from Kearns up to the 201 freeway. Jason.
We remain busy at the west and south gates of Hill Air Force Base. Extra light cycles are needed to get onto the base this morning. Also 7th South in Clearfield. Eastbound over to I-15. That's fairly heavy as well. And speaking of I-15 itself, now you're going to run very slow around 2nd North in Kaysville. Quite a bit under 70 miles an hour in that spot. And then again, once you get to the north interchange, it's going to be kind of thick and slow from there down to about 10th North. Eric?
No accidents in Utah County right now. Northbound from Provo to Point of the Mountains, a 20-minute drive, but it is getting busy, particularly where you would expect it. If you're out in Eagle Mountain, Saratoga Springs, you know what's coming next. We got eastbound slowing on Pioneer Crossing, Lehigh Main Street, and 2100 North heading over to the freeway, and northbound slowing on Redwood Road approaching 2100 North. I'm Eric Butler in the KSL Traffic Center.
7-day forecast brought to you by Performance Automotive Bountiful. Brett Benson's here. Hello, Brett.
Hey, what a weekend, right?
Yeah,
Big
beautiful.
Little were really busy this weekend. A lot of people up
beautiful.
there. Yeah. Gorgeous day today. We're going to see temperatures climbing into the mid-80s this afternoon. That's almost 10 degrees above average for this time of year. And then we just do the same thing Tuesday, same thing Wednesday. We'll pick up a little more wind as we get towards the middle part of the week. We'll see some increasing clouds. A little bit cooler on Thursday, upper 70s. And then we see clouds on Friday moving in. It looks like the next best chance of precipitation is coming in Saturday afternoon. Could see some showers on Sunday as well, but highs only in the 60s. Upper 60s Saturday, low 60s Sunday.
Wow.
What? Rain for conference weekend, Brett? Really?
Never happens.
Never happens around here. All right, sunny skies to greet you this morning. It is a beautiful morning, 57 degrees. Hey, if you're looking to sell a home or looking to buy a home right now, let us direct you to the Stern team. They were just ranked Utah's #1 team by Real Trends for 2022.
Yeah.
And there's lots of reasons why that happened.
Oh, yeah. In fact, when you go to sternteam.com, you'll see there are two different options, buy or sell. And you actually might want to do both. But if you click on sell, you can type in your address, and it will give you, within 30 seconds, a price that your house would sell for today.
Here's the great thing about the Stern team, too. They invest in you. They spend over $35,000 on marketing every month to get your home sold fast for the most money possible. And if they can't do that, they're going to make you a cash offer.
Right. And they have all these options like cash offer or like buy before you sell, or they have flexible fees. So if you need to move or you're thinking about moving, you don't have to wait for the perfect time. There is no such thing as a perfect time. They'll make it the perfect time now.
It's always the right time if you got the right team.
Yeah.
So go to Stern Team. Let me spell it for you. STERN, sternteam.com.
Or just Google the Stern Team.
Introducing Yes, heating, air conditioning, plumbing, and electric. We're bringing all of Utah's favorite HVAC, plumbing, and electrical brands under one roof. Maximize your energy savings with a new energy-efficient heating and cooling system from Yes, and you could save up to $4,500 through possible tax credits and other discounts. Purchase a new system today, and Yes will buy back your old inefficient HVAC system. Visit theyesmancan.com to schedule your appointment. Call now or visit theyesmancan.com for details, terms, and conditions.
Made to shine. Real stories from Shane Company customers.
So last week, my boyfriend said, I have a surprise for you. And I totally thought he was going to propose, but it was just tickets to a baseball game. Then during the game, Will You Marry Me was up on the big screen, and he was down on one knee holding the most beautiful engagement ring. It was so sparkly.
Our expert jewelers set every center stone by hand, so you'll shine forever. Shane Company, fine jewelry since 1929.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Dave and Dujanovic.
The Hollywood writers' strike is over. But if you think you're going to get your favorite shows back, not so fast. The actors still on strike. I'll tell you how much this is costing Utah. It's in the tens of millions. But industry-wide, it's billions. The strikes, today on Dave and Dujanovic.
Watching Utah's Money, brought to you by Trajan Wealth, your trusted local fiduciary advisors, TrajanWealth.com. Markets are closed today, but we have had some futures movement. The Dow is down about 72 points. The S&P is off less than 2. And the NASDAQ finally in the green. The futures are up 2.5.
It's time for Cougar Tracks, brought to you by America First Credit Union. Here is KSL Sports BYU insider Mitch Harper.
BYU's first Big 12 conference game ended in a loss as the Cougars lost to Kansas 38-27 in front of a sold-out crowd in Lawrence. It was a missed opportunity for Kalani Sitake's team to make a strong first impression in their new league home.
I felt so, yeah. You can only cry about it for so long. You know, I don't know how many of you guys thought we'd be in this position right now, but I don't really care. My thing is to get our team ready to go and make sure we learn from this. I know that we have a good team. I know that we haven't played our best yet. I'm looking forward to doing that next week. We definitely didn't play our best today, and you can either sulk about it or complain or just get better, and that I choose to get this team better for next week.
Next week is already here, and it's a short week. BYU will host Cincinnati on Friday night in the first ever Big 12 home game at 8:15 p.m. in Provo. With Cougar Tracks, I'm Mitch Harper on your legacy home of the BYU Cougars, KSL News Radio.
Brought to you by the Premium Checking from America First Credit Union. Learn more at americafirst.com.
Hey, this is Hans Olsen. There's a reason that more Utahns, including myself, are members of America First Credit Union. It's because we love being a part of a winning team. I opened my first business account with America First Credit Union going back 13 years ago. I've opened 4 accounts for each one of my children. I opened up my last business account with America First Credit Union because I know they're going to treat me and my family fairly. It's no wonder that Forbes magazine named America First to their 2023 Utah Best in State Credit Unions and their 2023 Utah Best in State Employers list. The only credit union in Utah to receive both awards. If you've got financial questions and needs, America First Credit Union has the answers. So come join me and thousands of others at Forbes Magazine's 2023 Utah Best in State Credit Union and Employer. Visit americafirst.com or stop by your local branch. It's great to be on the winning team. Federally insured by NCUA.
Hi, this is Congressman John Curtis. I know it can be stressful waiting for an answer from a government agency. If you live in Utah's 3rd Congressional District and you need help with a passport, the VA, IRS, Social Security, or another federal agency, come to my Congressional Outreach Open House. Please join us at Mountain America Credit Union at 9800 Monroe Street in Sandy on Monday, September 25th, anytime between 4 p.m. and 6 p.m. I'll kick the event off at 4 p.m. with a brief update on Congress, and then my staff will be available to help you. Please come meet our amazing caseworkers and staff and get help with government agencies. Sign up for a quick one-on-one with me or learn about internship opportunities, grant applications, and other important issues. Refreshments will be served. Sign up at curtis.house.gov/events.
Paid for by the MRA of Congressman John Curtis.
7:59, traffic and weather together every 10 minutes on the 9s, brought to you by Granite Credit Union's new Dividend Plus checking account. Heather?
We are looking pretty good in the Salt Lake Valley, but you do have some typical slowdowns now northbound I-15 as you make your way from Midvale into Murray and again approaching the I-80 East 201 freeway split in South Salt Lake. The 201 freeway, though, has your most significant delays all the way from 7200 West in Magna over to I-15, and then you'll just see some congestion areas on Bangerter Highway and Mountain View Corridor through Kearns and West Valley. Jason.
New accident now, southbound I-15. This one's going to be around Willard Bay, and it looks like the left lane is closed there. So far, not really causing any delays, but definitely could start backing things up here in the next minute or two. Southbound I-15 still rolling pretty heavy through Kaysville area. Also down around the north interchange, you're going to be slow and crowding right now at the south and west gates of Hill Air Force Base. Eric?
Looks like we got another on-ramp crash if you're over on Highland Drive and heading east on the 215 South Belt over towards Knutson Corner. Got a crash there on that entrance ramp. But I-15 Utah County remains crash-free if you're from Provo to Lehigh. Everything is looking good. Is your car due for some extra love? Burt Brothers is here for your vehicle's routine maintenance, all done by our ASE certified technicians. Burt Brothers, affordable, complete auto care done better. Eric Butler in the KSL Traffic Center.
Look at that day. Sunny, 85 today, and right now 57 downtown.
KSL FM Midvale, KSL Salt Lake City. Listen at home on any smart speaker and in your car at 102.7 FM. This is KSL News Radio, Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
Good morning. KSL News Time is 8 o'clock. This is Utah's Morning News. I'm Tim Hughes.
And I'm Amanda Dixon. KSL's top story this hour.
A Drag Queen Storytime event at King's English Bookstore in Salt Lake turned into a search area for police and bomb-sniffing dogs. Officials say someone called in a fake bomb threat.
Joining us live is KSL News Radio's Peter Johnston. Peter?
Amanda, right now I'm actually in front of the King's English Bookstore at 15th South and 15th East in Salt Lake City, where there's unfortunately a sign on the front door that says they're closed today because of the bomb threat that happened yesterday. Drag Queen Story Hour isn't a new event for the King's English Bookstore here in Salt Lake City.
We've been doing it for 5 months previously. We got an unusual amount of activity on the ticketing system.
That's shop owner Calvin Crosby. Police officers and a K-9 unit arrived yesterday morning, but they declared the store clear of any explosive material 2 hours later. Crosby kept the store closed all of Sunday, and he says it hurts.
So the right thing to do is to normalize diversity. It just disappoints me that our fellow merchants and our neighbors who are so loyal and so supportive of the store have to go through this.
The drag queen scheduled for this event posted a statement on their Instagram saying they'll not back down from continuing these events, and the Salt Lake City Council members are calling this bomb threat a despicable act of hatred. Reporting live from the King's English Bookstore in Salt Lake City, Peter Johnston, KSL News Radio.
Police are looking for whoever has been breaking into meeting houses of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints across the Salt Lake Valley. Here's KSL News Radio's Adam Small.
22 total meeting houses have been broken into in just the last week, and police think they could be connected. Many of these break-ins have happened around Harriman, and police there tell the Salt Lake Tribune the meeting houses were all damaged, but only a TV was stolen once. Otherwise, nothing of value is missing. Police say it's hard for them to determine when exactly these break-ins have taken place, so they are now asking people who utilize these meeting houses to keep their eyes peeled for anything that seems off. Adam Small, KSL News Radio.
A motorcyclist is dead after being thrown from the road while riding on Highway 66 in Morgan County yesterday. The Utah Highway Patrol says witnesses reported seeing the 25-year-old man trying to pass another vehicle when the crash happened. Troopers say the rider died on the scene.
Pregnancy deaths are on the rise. Experts say the drug-related pregnancy deaths are going up even more sharply. KSL News Radio's Brett Johnson reports.
Associate professor with the U of U Elevate Maternal Health Research Center of Excellence, Tori Metz, says there's a disparity showing people of color are more affected. Funding from the National Institutes of Health is allowing them to get out into communities that need more services and education. They're working alongside tribal leaders as well to help bridge the gap in maternal health care for Native Americans.
Metz says it's important to provide care without the stigma and that can help drive away patients struggling with substance abuse.
The CDC has approved the first maternal RSV vaccine for pregnant women to protect newborns from the respiratory virus.
The same vaccine is already out and recommended and available for people 60 years of age and over. There's also monoclonal antibodies that can be given instead of the vaccine for newborns up to, give or take on an individual basis, up to even 2 years of age.
ABC News Chief Medical Correspondent Dr. Jen Ashton reporting.
A new children's mental health campus is holding its grand opening today.
As part of the Children's Center Utah, this new state-of-the-art children's mental health campus is set to provide comprehensive mental health support for infants, toddlers, preschoolers, and their families. The multi-million-dollar project has been in the works for several years and will highlight the importance of investment in early childhood mental health. The unveiling will be held this morning at 10 a.m. in West Valley City. Alessandra Harris, KSL News Radio.
The Red Cross says the national blood supply is down 25% 25% since last month because people haven't been donating as much as they used to. KSL News Radio's Claire Scott reports.
With such a constant demand, lack of blood donations has a greater impact on blood shortage than any uptick in need. That's what Red Cross Utah-Nevada Region Executive Ryan Warren says anyway. He says blood has a limited shelf life and the constant demand means donors would never be turned away due to a surplus. Warren says there's nothing to be afraid of when giving blood and advises bringing a friend along if you get nervous around needles. He says if you don't have an appointment, make one because the need is higher than ever. Claire Scott, KSL News Radio.
KSL's top national stories this hour. The Hollywood writer's strike is over. The 146-day strike has shut down production since May. The Writers Guild and studios have reached a tentative deal on a contract. The WGA negotiating committee is calling the agreement exceptional.
My phone is blowing up with joy. People thanking each other, people that are so excited that they're going out right now.
A vote on the 3-year contract is expected as early as tomorrow.
First look traffic on a Monday morning, and here is Heather Kelly.
We do have a crash southbound I-15 near Willard Bay. It's blocking the left lane and shoulder. It's causing a little bit of slowing in the area. But we also have a stalled vehicle on the 201 freeway. This is westbound in Magna, right near 7200 West. Good news is you don't have as much traffic heading west as you do east. Heather Kelly in the KSL Traffic Center.
An emergency declaration has been issued in southern Louisiana because salt water could enter their water supply.
The problem is drought, drying up part of the Mississippi, allowing salt water from the Gulf of Mexico to flow north. That salt water could then inadvertently get pumped out of the Mississippi and into water treatment plants. The water in Plaquemines Parish, south of New Orleans, has already been impacted for months. Louisiana's governor and the mayor of New Orleans now trying to calm residents' fears, urging them not to panic buy bottled water. One solution involves raising an underwater levee to block the salt.
Officials have been aware of the problem since early summer when drinking advisories were put into place.
Well, Utah Utes move into the top 10 on the AP Top 25 college football poll at number 10. KSL News Radio's Utes insider Michelle Bodkin says the Utes could get a win in Corvallis, but the comfort level would be a bit more elevated with quarterback Cam Rising under center.
It just opens up a whole slew of things because you do have that trust with him, because you do know that there's not really a situation he's never been in before. And I think you want that to happen sooner rather than later.
Michelle says the team has a bye next week and then hosts Cal on October 14th.
Long stretches of reduced speeds on the freeway now. Northbound I-15 from Midvale to South Salt Lake. We'll check your traffic and weather together next.
Start your day with all news in the morning. Then hear Dave and Dejanovic talk about the biggest stories from 9 to noon.
AI is such a phantom concept.
Artificial intelligence is going to change everything.
Breaking news, important talk, all morning on KSL News Radio.
Tonight is a night of crazy good premieres on NBC.
First, The Voice is back.
Yes, it is, with Gwen Stefani, John Legend, Niall Horan, and new coach Reba McEntire.
Love her. Then it's the premiere of The Irrational.
Jesse L. Martin stars as a brilliant professor who's an expert in human behavior.
And helps solve crimes no one else can crack.
Watch once, you will be hooked.
The Irrational premieres after the return of The Voice.
Tonight on NBC.
Then stay tuned for KSL 5 News at 10 with this special investigative report.
We've all felt the pain of a cracked windshield, but for one Utah driver, 1, 2, 3 claims and he was out.
We're dropping your comprehensive and you'll have to figure it out.
But isn't that what insurance is for?
I pay extra for business insurance, so I thought they already calculated all that.
What you need to know to avoid cracks in your coverage.
Get Gephardt, cracks in your coverage. Tonight on KSL 5 News at 10.
You can stream your favorite show anytime, but the opera only happens 4 times per year. Join us and make new memories with your family and friends. Enjoy the entertaining stories, beautiful sets and costumes, and mesmerizing music. You deserve an elegant night on the town or a Sunday matinee with Utah Opera. Your couch will be there when you get back. This is it, your perfect first opera. October 7th through the 15th, Utah Opera begins its season with one of the most popular operas of all time, Puccini's La Bohème. This tragic love story will seem familiar. It was the inspiration for the smash hit Rent. You'll recognize characters and moments like Mimi asking Rodolfo to light her candle, but now experience it with an operatic twist. Tickets start at $21. Get yours today at utahopera.org.
This is the year to go see Utah Symphony and Utah Opera. Just pick your favorite performances at usuo.org. KSL News Time is 8:09. Time for a look at traffic and weather together. Brought to you by Granite Credit Union's new Dividend Plus checking account. Heather, how we doing?
Well, we're seeing a lot of stop-and-go traffic now. Northbound I-15, you'll hit those brakes right about 7200 south in Midvale, and that extends all the way into South Salt Lake, where you'll merge on with I-80 if you want to head eastbound. And then the 201 freeway, also pretty congested. It's one solid mass of traffic coming out of Magna, eastbound, all the way over to the west side belt. So those are your two slowest spots, but everybody else moving along pretty well right now in the Salt Lake Valley. Jason.
Still seeing this accident southbound I-15 up in the Willard Bay area. Left lane is blocked, and there was some pretty decent delay through there, but mostly it's cleared out now. You're going to have to run a little bit slow, of course, as you head by that accident. Southbound I-15 a little bit further on south, around 2nd North in Kaysville. That's where you're running less than 70 miles an hour. And likewise, when you get down to about Warm Springs Road, going to be pretty heavy from there all the way down into Salt Lake City. Looking better now at the south gate of Hill Air Force Base, but still a little congested at the west gate. Eric?
Got a little bit of southbound I-15 slowing in Utah County going by Pioneer Crossing in American Fork. By the time you get to the 500 East exit, everything is back up to a normal pace and still looks good on the northbound side. A 30-minute drive from Santaquin all the way to Point of the Mountain, getting over to the freeway. Your usual slowdowns on 2100 North and Pioneer Crossing from Redwood Road over to the freeway. I'm Eric Butler in the KSL Traffic Center.
Big high pressure is the main player in the weather for a majority of the work week, and we're certainly going to see a lot of sunshine today and some breezy conditions developing, but gorgeous conditions. Temperatures running about 10 degrees above average for this time of year in northern Utah. 85 for an afternoon high. From the KSL Weather Center, I'm Brett Benson.
Sunny skies downtown this hour, 57 degrees.
We're getting some response from Salt Lake City leaders this morning after that bomb threat at the King's English Bookstore. Debbie Dujanovic joins us in a moment on KSL News Radio.
Stay with us, streaming at home, of course, on any smart speaker and in your car at 102.7 FM. This is KSL News Radio, Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
Hi, this is Congressman John Curtis. I know it can be stressful waiting for an answer from a government agency. If you live in Utah's 3rd Congressional District and you need help with a passport, the VA, IRS, Social Security, or another federal agency, come to my Congressional Outreach Open House. Please join us at Mountain America Credit Union at 9800 Monroe Street in Sandy on Monday, September 25th, anytime between 4 p.m. and 6 p.m. I'll kick the event off at 4 p.m. with a brief update on Congress, and then my staff will be available to help you. Please come meet our amazing caseworkers and staff and get help with government agencies. Sign up for a quick one-on-one with me or learn about internship opportunities, grant applications, and other important issues. Refreshments will be served. Sign up at curtis.house.gov/events.
Paid for by the MRA of Congressman John Curtis.
Tim Jr. here from RGS Exteriors. And let's face it, it's time to update the look of your home's exterior. When was that thing built? In the 50s, 70s, 90s, the 2000s? Well, it's looking like it. Faded siding, drafty windows, leaky gutters. It's time to take action now. RGS Exteriors has been taking Utah homes from drab to fab for over 5 generations. We only use the highest quality materials, like James Hardy siding and gutter topper gutter covers. You will be blown away by how much different and better and awesome your house can look. Your neighbors will be jealous, your home value will go up, and most of all, you're going to love it. Everything we do comes with our industry-leading 10-year everything guarantee, so you can sleep like a baby, knowing if anything goes wrong, you're 100% covered. For a free estimate on your gutters, windows, siding, or anything on your outside of your home, call RGS Exteriors at 801-280-3110 or visit us at rgsutah.com. That's rgsutah.com.
Home is where the heart is. It's also where the office is, the school is, the restaurant is, the stadium is. Basically, your home is now the center for everything. So right now might just be the perfect time to upgrade your living space to one that has, well, a little more space. If you've been thinking about building, with home prices leveling out and material costs coming down, right now may be the perfect time to start building your dream home. Let the construction loan experts at Golden West Credit Union help make building your dream home a reality with a convenient low-rate construction loan. We also offer one-time close options so you can secure your construction loan and mortgage conveniently at the same time. Get a personalized rate quote right from the comfort of your own home or with a lending expert at any Golden West branch, or apply in minutes online today at gwcu.org. Golden West Credit Union, Equal Housing Lender, NMLS number 440574.
We'll take care of you.
Good morning, KSL News Time, 8:15. The three things you need to know this hour. First,
police are asking people to be on the lookout after more than 20 meeting houses for the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints in the Salt Lake Valley were vandalized in just the last week. I'm KSL News Radio's Adam Small.
And we're also following the bomb threat to King's English Bookstore in Salt Lake. More with Debbie Dujanovic just ahead.
Third, let's see what the drive looks like with traffic and weather together.
Well, we do have a couple of crashes along the Wasatch Front. One is southbound I-15 near Willard Bay. The other is on Highland Drive in Holiday, but neither of them are causing too many problems. Heather Kelly in the KSL Traffic Center.
Sunny skies and warm temperatures to start the week. I'm Brett Benson.
Right now, 57 downtown.
With KSL's top national stories.
From ABC News, I'm Sherry Preston. A deal in Hollywood. Members of the Writers Guild say they have reached a tentative agreement with producers and studio heads. Details are still being kept secret, but WGA strike captain Bill Wolkoff says he's heard it's a fair deal.
It has been described as exemplary in all areas. We can all just celebrate and know we have something that is going to create transformative change for our business.
Residual streaming payments and protections for AI all said to be part of this agreement. Hollywood actors are still on strike. Still no agreement on averting a government shutdown. The deadline for coming up with even a short-term spending plan is Friday. A small group of hardline Republicans refusing to budge on several issues, including spending cuts. The second GOP presidential debate will be held Wednesday, even though Donald Trump once again won't be there.
The former president is now cementing his lead as the frontrunner in this Republican primary, even as he faces 91 charges across 4 cases. According to our latest ABC News Washington Post poll, the former president is now leading Florida Governor Ron DeSantis by nearly 40 points. That is a 16-point jump from our last poll in May. DeSantis is now dropping in the polls. Every other candidate is in single digits.
That's ABC's Rachel Scott. An emotional day in store for people who had to flee the Hawaiian city of Lahaina earlier this month.
Beginning today, families who have lost everything will be allowed to go in and see the burned out remains of their homes. They won't be able to stay, but they'll be able to see for the first time what the wildfire did to their neighborhoods. Maui Emergency Management Head Daryl Oliveira.
Seeing their properties, maybe collecting information, photographs for insurance purposes.
He's urging families not to dig in the ash for things like wedding rings just yet, saying it's still not safe. Maui residents started lining up on Friday to get passes to begin heading in today. Alex Stone, ABC News.
You're listening to ABC News.
Time for the David Dujanovic preview. We're hearing response from Salt Lake City leaders this morning.
And Debbie Dujanovic joins us. We're talking about that bomb threat.
Yeah, at the King's English Bookstore. If you're not familiar with where that's at, it's been around since the late 70s on 15th and 15th in Salt Lake City. And there was a bomb threat yesterday, and it shut down the bookstore and also shut down a drag story time event that was scheduled for yesterday. The Salt Lake City Council, very, very strong statement saying that they see this as a crime rooted in hate, and the community experienced a very despicable act of hatred in the form of a bomb threat to a family-friendly drag story time, and they say they stand firm in their community values of diversity, inclusion, belonging, and freedom to express one's true self. Now, I went through the King's English Bookstore calendar this morning. They keep a calendar of events, and they have a lot of events at that bookstore. And it appears that this drag story time has been going on for quite some time, at least over the course of the summer. Every Sunday, or not every Sunday, but every last Sunday in June, throughout the summer, in June, July, and August, for about 30 minutes. And it wasn't just open to the public to walk in. It was, you had to get reserved seating, and they said seats were limited. It went off without a hitch until this Sunday, and there was this bomb threat. We're going to ask KSL legal analyst Greg Skordas, after, even though the police finally gave the all clear, it certainly did shut down the business. It intimidated the owner and also, of course, the performer and maybe even the families that were going to attend. Will the aspect of it being a drag show level up the charges if they do catch a suspect in this case?
All right. Dave and Debbie take over this morning, as they always do, Monday through Thursday, 9 o'clock. They're with you till noon here on KSL.
8:19 now. Traffic and weather together every 10 minutes on the 9s. Brought to you by Granite Credit Union's new Dividend Plus checking account. And back to you, Heather.
Well, things are still pretty smooth across the Salt Lake Valley. You do have typical slowdowns northbound I-15 between Midvale and South Salt Lake. It's running about 35, 40 miles an hour through most of that stretch. The 201 freeway also stop and go from Mountain View Corridor over to the west side belt, but that's nothing unusual this time of the morning. The good news is the delays that we had on Bangerter Highway and Mountain View Corridor appear to be easing up, so you shouldn't have too many issues right now trying to get up to the 201 freeway. Jason.
Not much change up north. Still seeing the accident southbound side of I-15 around Willard Bay with the left lane blocked there. You're going to have to slow down as you pass by that, and then you're back up to regular speed. Still very heavy at the west gate of Hill Air Force Base, although the south gate is mostly cleared out at this point. So at least that's some good news. You're going to run a little bit slow through Kaysville, although most of the delay there is all cleared out. And then sporadically slowing southbound I-15 between 2300 north and down into Salt Lake City. Eric?
Well, we do have some congestion going on in Utah County on the freeway I-15 southbound going by American Forks Pioneer Crossing exit, and then your usual congestion heading east over to the freeway from Redwood Road, both on Pioneer Crossing and 2100 north. Limited tickets available for the Nate Bargatze Be Funny Tour, Saturday, September 30th, 3 p.m. at the Delta Center. Tickets available at deltacenter.com. Nate Bargatze Be Funny Tour live at Delta Center. Eric Butler in the KSL Traffic Center.
High pressure ridge will be the main player in our weather for the majority of the week. We're going to keep it sunny today, 85 for an afternoon high, mid-80s on Tuesday as well. Wednesday, mid-80s, sunny, and we'll pick up some breezy conditions as well, especially as we get towards the middle part of the week. Winds will increase a little bit out of the north on Thursday, 78. Then low 70s on Friday with increasing clouds. Chance of showers developing by the weekend. Upper 60s on Saturday and 62 with rain showers possible on Sunday. From the KSL Weather Center, I'm Brett Benson.
We were just talking about what a beautiful weekend it was. And we've got another great day today. Look at that sunshine and blue sky right now. 57 degrees downtown. Your 7-day forecast brought to you by Performance Automotive Bountiful.
I love a Friday night football game. Don't you?
Yeah.
Isn't that fun? This Friday night, BYU hosts a Big 12 opponent at LaVell Edwards Stadium for the first time when Cincinnati comes to Provo. Pre-game coverage on KSL starts Friday night at 6. The kickoff is 8:15, and that pregame coverage is sponsored by UCCU. Love where you bank.
Well, the green numbers from the NASDAQ didn't last long. They're in the red as well. We'll check money news and the current market situation for you coming up next on KSL.
Everything's changing so fast these days, and that's a great thing. Back in my day, we were lucky if we could get a video to load on a desktop computer, but now there's the Xfinity 10G network. That means the fastest internet with faster speeds rolling out all the time, and internet that can power a house full of devices at once with ultra-low lag. So while one person streams a movie from their room, another can play video games in the basement, while another TikToks in the kitchen. It's the next generation 10G network, only from Xfinity. The future starts now. Through December 21st, new customers can get 1.2 gigabit internet with Wi-Fi equipment included. It's all just $25 a month for 2 years with no annual contract when you add Xfinity Mobile with unlimited data at regular rates. Go to Xfinity.com/10G, call 1-800-XFINITY, or visit a store today. Requires paperless billing and auto pay with stored bank account. Restrictions apply. Taxes and fees extra. Xfinity Mobile requires Xfinity Internet. After promo, regular rates apply to internet service and devices. Actual speeds vary. The next generation 10G network only from Xfinity.
Everybody knows Cache Valley has the happiest cows in the universe, and we're ready to celebrate. Round up your herd and head to Logan, Utah for the 3rd annual free Cache Valley Cheese and Dairy Festival, September 29th and 30th. Free samples, live music, and food trucks. Workshops where you can learn how to fine-tune your taste buds for gourmet cheese tasting, make an eye-popping charcuterie board, or identify the subtle essences in dark chocolate from around the world. You can even learn to make your own marvelous mozzarella at home. Wait! I want to tell you about something totally awesome. You can watch an authentic cheesemonger crack open a 75-pound wheel of Parmesan Reggiano cheese. That's 131 gallons of milk aged over 730 days for Parmesan perfection. You can even blow a giant Swiss Alpenhorn or practice your yodeling. Well, maybe don't do that part. Loosen your belt for a delicious cheesy Dutch oven dinner and entertainment on Saturday night. Buy your dinner tickets online and in advance. Amazing! Get moving! CacheCheeseFest.com.
The Hollywood writers' strike is over. But if you think you're going to get your favorite shows back, not so fast. The actors still on strike. I'll tell you how much this is costing Utah. It's in the tens of millions. But industry-wide, it's billions. The strikes, today on Dave and Dujanovic.
Watching Utah's Money brought to you by Trajan Wealth, your trusted local fiduciary advisors, TrajanWealth.com. Cache County School District is asking voters to approve a $139 million bond this November. The bond would deal with overcrowding in schools. The district is asking for money to go toward putting 6th graders into middle schools and building 3 new schools in the county.
Meta's getting creative with their AI. The company is planning on releasing artificial intelligence chatbots with distinct personalities like Bob the Robot, who is a self-described SaaS master. Meta says this is all to attract younger users.
A SaaS master.
Whatever that is.
College tuition isn't the biggest expense that comes with raising a child anymore. Here in the U.S., child care costs more than college tuition. That's from a netcredit.com survey. Also, teen car ownership costs more than college tuition.
That's crazy.
And families spend about 19% of their annual income on raising a child.
Yeah.
So imagine, for Utah families who have 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 kids, what that's like.
Well, luckily, my teenage grandson has no interest. I shouldn't say no. He has little interest in getting a driver's license or driving right now.
It's so different from our generation. I mean, we were like on the day I turned 16. Let me out of here.
Yeah. I'm not surprised at this headline either. I just saw government shutdown-related Google searches on Social Security and veterans benefits have spiked over 5,000% this morning.
Sure, with that potential this weekend.
Yeah. All right, markets are down. The sell-off continues. The Dow is off 141. That's 0.4%. The S&P is down less than 9, and the NASDAQ has now joined in on the pity party here. It's off 26 points.
Southbound I-15 from Ogden to Salt Lake City, pretty clean drive. Southbound 15, though still slow, Midvale to Murray. So we'll check that and the rest of your commute just ahead on KSL News Radio.
Let us ask you a question. What is your go-to when you really want to make an impression on somebody, when you're headed out for dinner, when you want it to be a memorable night, a special occasion, an engagement, first date? What is your go-to restaurant?
Yeah.
We have an idea called the Five Alls.
The Five Alls. It's a beautiful restaurant up on Foothill Drive. They have, because the Five Alls has been around forever, like over 50 years. They have stories about engagements that have taken place in that. I love that. Waiters who have been there and waited on multiple couples who have gotten engaged.
Well, you're talking about Quimby, who waited on you and Aaron when you were there, and Becky and I when I was there. And he himself worked there when he was in high school. So he has some of the same memories, which is fantastic. And, of course, with a restaurant, it starts and ends with good food and good atmosphere, and you're going to find both at the Five Alls.
Oh, I mean, the pewter water glasses that kept the water so ice cold. And it's a 5-course meal. So the only thing I want to tell you is pace yourself. So, because from the minute you get those Swedish meatballs in the beginning, through the dessert, you're going to want to eat everything. But remember, there are to-go boxes.
Yeah, it really is. It's like being transported to Old England, and it's right here in Salt Lake City. Go to fivealls.com, the Five Alls restaurant at 1458 Foothill Drive, right next to Foothill Oriental Rugs.
This weekend, take a needed break, relax and refresh with the 193rd Semi-Annual General Conference of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. KSL's coverage begins Saturday morning at 9:30 with live sessions all weekend. We have you covered at 102.7 FM or on the app for KSL News Radio.
KSL News Time, 8:29. Traffic and weather together, brought to you by Granite Credit Union's new Dividend Plus checking account. Back to Heather Kelly.
We still have extensive delays on the 201 freeway. These are hanging out longer than they normally do this time of the morning. You're going to be hitting the brakes as you head east from Mountain View Corridor almost over to I-15. And then on I-15 itself, you also have some slow-and-go traffic heading north between Midvale and South Salt Lake. But your city streets are in pretty good shape, and I'm not seeing any delays coming out of Tooele County on SR 36 or I-80. Jason?
Well, this accident southbound I-15 up near Willard Bay is proving to be fairly stubborn, as it still has the left lane blocked there, and you're going to have to slow down as you round the corner. Otherwise, though, it's not really causing too much delay. Speaking of the rest of the delays on I-15, most of those are gone now, and Kaysville is moving pretty well, and also down into the Rose Park area, but you are still fairly crowded at that west gate of Hill Air Force Base. Can take you a little extra time to get on the base. pace. Eric?
Foothill Drive in patches, a little bit slow getting up to the University of Utah, around 1700 south, and then up to where Sunnyside Avenue heads up to Mario Kopecki. That's a little bit slow as well. Eastbound I-80 through the mountains, not too bad, but going past the Kimball Junction exit, you've got your usual brake tapping and slowdowns trying to approach the ramp to go south on US 40. That's at the Silver Creek Junction. I-15 Utah County northbound looks good, a little bit of slowdowns going past Pioneer Crossing and American Fork on the southbound side. Bad weather and parking lots. Love Go Pave Utah. Go Pave Utah loves snow. Don't wait for bad weather. Schedule your snow removal service with Go Pave. Visit gopave.com. Eric Butler in the KSL Traffic Center.
It will be another beautiful day today, tomorrow, Wednesday, Thursday. We stay highs in the 80s, while Thursday drops down to 78. And nothing but sunshine. The clouds move in on Friday with a chance of rain Friday, but that chance increases into Saturday and Sunday. Right now, 57 downtown.
You're listening to Utah's Morning News with Tim Hughes and Amanda Dixon on KSL News Radio, 102.7 FM and 1160 AM.
Good morning, KSL News Time, 8:30.
KSL's top story this hour.
NASA now has physical material from an asteroid, and Utah played a big role in the mission.
KSL News Radio's Adam Small was in Dugway yesterday when the sample returned to Earth.
The 7-year mission of OSIRIS-REx came to an end at the Dugway Proving Ground Army Base yesterday morning. Crews on helicopters flew out to the sands where the capsule landed and safely retrieved it and the 4.5 billion-year-old material inside.
It's a treasure trove from the very beginning of our solar system.
University of Arizona professor Dr. Dante Loretta and leader of the OSIRIS-REx mission says that the material will be taken to the Johnson Space Center in Houston today. It will be studied for years with the hope it can shed light on the very nature of our existence.
That may hold the clues to why Earth is a habitable world and how did we get here, and really maybe are we alone?
Adam Small, KSL News Radio.
Kind of a weird transition, isn't it? Well, believe it or not, Queen guitarist Brian May was part of the team that helped collect this asteroid sample.
I played a small role, but the role was to try and make sure that the spacecraft was safe as it collected that sample, because if it had fallen into the rubble, nothing would have got back to Earth, which would have been a bit of a tragedy after spending billions of dollars on the whole project.
You see, Brian May moonlights as an astrophysicist when he's not playing guitar. And he tells ITN Channel 4 News he created special images from the spacecraft's data that helped the team's leader find a safe place to land to collect the sample. May was not here in Utah for the landing because he was rehearsing for a Queen tour.
Wow, that's a Renaissance man.
Yeah.
Huh? Provo's police chief has awarded 2 residents the Citizens Recognition Award after they stopped a runaway bus with an unconscious driver at the wheel. KSL News Radio's Peter Johnston has more.
Connor Morris was driving his moped through Provo when he saw a bus near him flatten a street sign and plow through a roundabout.
Hit the throttle on the moped and went up on the curb. I think it kind of scared me because I assumed there was children on the bus.
Luckily, there were none, besides granddaughter of the driver, Cameron McCurdy. She tells KSL TV she was bringing the bus to a halt when Morris drove up.
I opened the door for him, and he came to help my grandpa.
The two were able to pull the bus to a halt on the side of the road. No one was harmed, and 82-year-old bus driver Terry Burns says his days behind the wheel are done. Peter Johnston, KSL News Radio.
We have a development in the story about a Camas woman accused of killing her husband and writing a children's book about grief. The unfinished house of Corey Richens is going up for auction. She bought the 20,000 square foot house when her husband died. Richens and her realty company will not get any money from the sale. It will go to the lenders who are asking for $3.5 million.
KSL's top national stories now. A new ABC News Washington Post poll shows President Biden taking blame for voters' frustration with the economy. ABC News Chief Global Affairs correspondent Martha Raddatz reports from Washington.
Despite low unemployment, cooling inflation, and so far avoiding a recession, Americans overwhelmingly say they are not feeling good about the economy and that the president is to blame. Just 30% approve of his performance on the economy, a career low, largely dragged down by pocketbook issues for families, like food prices that have risen 4.3% since last year. Our poll showing more than 9 in 10 Americans rating them negatively.
The poll also shows former President Trump holds the lead over President Biden in a hypothetical head-to-head race, 51-42.
Democratic Senator Robert Menendez is expected to be arraigned in federal court this week on corruption charges. The New Jersey senator was indicted Friday along with his wife and 3 other businessmen.
Federal prosecutors say the corruption began in July of 2018 and lasted for several years when Menendez was accused of taking hundreds of thousands of dollars in bribes that took some rather almost cartoonish forms. According to the indictment, he took gold bars, he took a Mercedes, and he took cash, some of which the FBI said agents found stuffed into his embroidered congressional jacket.
ABC's senior investigative reporter, Aaron Katursky.
First look traffic now on a Monday morning, and here's Heather Kelly.
Well, we do have our slowdowns northbound I-15 as you move between Midvale, Murray, and even a little bit into South Salt Lake. But it's the 201 freeway that's had most of the delay all morning long, and that's still the case eastbound 201 as you leave the Mountain View Corridor area and head over toward I-15. Heather Kelly in the KSL Traffic Center.
In sports, University of Utah football has moved up to number 10 now in the latest AP college football rankings. This week, the schedule gets just a little tougher.
The 4-0 Utes have remained unbeaten despite not playing Cam Rising. KSL News Radio's Utes insider Michelle Bodkin says Rising may not be back in time for a ranked matchup on the road at number 19 Oregon State on Friday. If he were to return for that trip to Corvallis, certainly be a confidence booster.
It just opens up a whole slew of things because you do have that trust with him, because you do know that there's not really a situation he's never been in before. And I think you want that to happen sooner rather than later.
After Oregon State is a bye, followed by Cal at home October 14th. Mark Jackson, KSL News Radio.
If you own a dog, then you'll still want to keep them away from open bodies of water. KSL News Radio's Michael Commit has more.
The warning comes from Brigham City resident Samantha Cragen and her 1-year-old blue heeler border collie mix named Scout. The two of them visited Pelican Beach at Willard Bay last Sunday, only for Scout to get painful sores afterward. The vet is very confident algae is the culprit. Kraken was left with a $2,000 vet bill, and she's asking all pet owners to keep their dogs out of big bodies of water. Michael Commit, KSL News Radio.
2 new community fishing ponds will be open next year, one in Roosevelt, another in West Haven. Utah Division of Wildlife Resources Public Information Officer Faith Heaton-Jolly says community ponds are a great way to get into fishing for the first time.
If anybody is interested in getting into fishing, trying it for the first time, these community ponds are just a great option for that because, again, they're close to home, usually within 20 minutes of an urban center.
Jolly says you can see all 59 community ponds in Utah on the Division of Wildlife Resources website.
We have some slowing on the ramp from northbound I-15 to go east on I-80, and then on I-80 further up the road around 2300 East. We'll check that coming up next on KSL News Radio.
Boyd Matheson helps you to think about the news differently.
Well, everyone's important. Everyone has a crucial role to play, but there's a time to move on.
Join an elevated conversation. Inside Sources from 1 to 3. Then Jeff Kaplan and his Minute of News on the drive home on KSL News Radio.
And now here's Growing Your Wealth, presented by Madrona Financial Services. Here's Brian Evans.
Today I want to talk about the term diversification as it relates to investments. I remember once, it was a long time ago before the dot-com crash, I asked this person, are you diversified? And he said, oh yeah, I'm very diversified. I said, what do you have? He says, well, I have stocks. Oh, which ones? He said, well, I have Dell, Microsoft, and Intel, and Apple, and he had some internet stock, some of that. I said, wow, you own all the components of a computer. And yeah, see, I'm diversified. I'm like, well, that's not exactly what I was talking about. So there are different levels of diversification. You certainly can diversify with stock markets by using different sectors or get the king of diversification, the S&P 500. You have 500 different companies essentially in that. But are you truly diversified? Because what we see is, let's say that you had a diversified portfolio of small cap, mid cap, large cap, U.S., foreign, and emerging markets. And you look at your statement at the end of 2022 and you go, wow, they all kind of did the same thing. They all were down a lot. And yeah, that's true. They are correlated. So you might think that you have a diversified portfolio, but your portfolio might be correlated, meaning they basically move together to a great degree. And so you need some non-correlated assets. Now, bonds were supposed to help out with that, but as rates went up, bonds lost money. So you have to look for asset classes that are not correlated to the market to have true diversification. Most of the asset classes that are worthy of investing in are not available to retail investors. You do have to go through an advisor to get the kind of diversification you need to have a truly diversified portfolio.
Even the mightiest of trees can be blown over if they don't have strong enough roots. The same is true with your investment plan. Can your plan withstand a financial storm? Go to MadronaFinancial.com and click on the Get Started button to request your Rooted Wealth Analysis. You can also click on the chat button and ask us anything. We have a searchable library with answers to your questions. Visit MadronaFinancial.com.
8:39, traffic and weather together every 10 minutes on the 9s, brought to you by Granite Credit Union's new Dividend Plus checking account. Back to you, Heather.
Well, you'll be still slightly under the speed limit, northbound I-15 moving between Midvale and Murray. And the 201 freeway also has a lot of brake lights remaining as you leave 5600 west and head over toward the west side belt and a little bit toward I-15 as well. But that's really the only major slowdown we have in the Salt Lake Valley right now. Jason.
And the accident southbound I-15 at Willard Bay has been cleared, so you don't have to worry about that slowdown anymore. In fact, most of the delays at the west gate of Hill Air Force Base are, well, mostly clear, I guess I should say. Still a little bit slow getting on base there, but South Gate fairly crowded right now and a couple extra cycles there. The rest of the I-15 slowdowns are all gone. Eric?
Traffic is chugging along on Foothill Drive northbound from 2100 north past 1700 south. You're going to be at reduced speeds through that stretch, but then it gets better as you hit 1300 south. I-15 Utah County, that is looking good right now on the northbound side from Provo to the point of the mountain. That's a 20-minute drive. You deserve an elegant night out on the town. Your couch will be there when you get back. Don't miss grand performances at Utah Opera. Get your tickets at utahopera.org. Eric Butler in the KSL Traffic Center.
Sunny skies statewide, and temperatures will be running about 10 degrees, almost 10 degrees above average for this time of year. So we'll climb into the mid-80s this afternoon with sunny skies. A little bit of breezy conditions developing in the afternoon hours throughout much of the work week as well. From the KSL Weather Center, I'm Brett Benson.
Got some window cleaners going at it outside the studio here today so we can get a better look at that beautiful day. Blue sky right now, starting to warm up too, 61 degrees.
There was a bomb threat at a bookstore over the weekend, and the Salt Lake City Council is speaking out about it. We're going to speak with Councilmember Chris Wharton coming up next on KSL.
Stay with us and catch us all the time, streaming online at KSLNewsRadio.com and in your car at 102.7 FM. This is KSL News Radio, Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
The Zone and Unrivaled are hitting the road in an RV from General RV throughout the college football season. Scott and Alex will be broadcasting live up and down the Wasatch Front, and you can stop by and enter to win BYU tickets. Listen to 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone, throughout the college football season to learn where you can enter to win. General RV and Draper is a proud sponsor of the Unrivaled Tour on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Have you Googled yourself lately? Are there negative posts from an ex-employee or from a former client? Maybe an outdated news article or sensitive personal information about your family? Search engines don't always get it right. For right or wrong, it's your reputation on the line. That's where Reputation Defender by Norton comes in. One of the most trusted names in online reputation repair, Reputation Defender has been fixing people's search results for over 15 years. Their cutting-edge approaches help you to wipe away unwanted information in your search results. They also promote the good stuff so that it rises to the top, helping you put your best foot forward. Your good name is too valuable to leave to the whims of a Google algorithm. Take control with Reputation Defender. You can start by getting your free reputation report card at reputationdefender.com or call 800-401-6681 to speak to an expert. That's 800-401-6681.
Jeff Kaplan. I'm energized by breaking news. First of all, because it's right now, and second of all, because in many cases the audience needs to know. There's no more important service that we can provide, and I find it critically important to get more details to the audience as quickly as possible. There's nothing more energizing than that for me. Not at all. The most important thing we do is breaking news.
Jeff Kaplan's Afternoon News, 3 to 7 on KSL News Radio.
KSL News Time, 8:44. The three things you need to know this hour. First,
NASA has brought back a physical asteroid sample to Earth for the very first time, and they did it right here in Utah. I'm KSL News Radio's Adam Small.
Second, police are looking for someone who broke into almost 24 meeting houses of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints across the Salt Lake Valley.
Third, let's check your traffic and weather together.
Well, traffic is starting to ease up now all across the Wasatch Front. The worst of the delays remain on the 201 freeway eastbound, trying to head toward the west side belt and I-15. But you'll still see a bit of slowing northbound and southbound on I-15 trying to get into downtown. Heather Kelly in the KSL Traffic Center.
A warming trend for the work week. I'm Brett Benson.
And right now we're up to 61 degrees.
With KSL's top national stories.
New Jersey Democratic Senator Bob Menendez set to have a press conference shortly this morning in the midst of calls from some in his own party for him to step down. Menendez and his wife will be arraigned on Wednesday on corruption charges. He will speak with reporters in about an hour. There is now less than a week to go until a possible government shutdown in Washington. ABC senior congressional correspondent Rachel Scott says hardline House Republicans are refusing to budge on even a short-term spending deal.
Allies to House Speaker Kevin McCarthy are now floating a proposal that would fund the government for the next 30 to 45 days, impose deeper spending cuts and also stricter border policies. But any deal would have to win over not only the far right of their conference, but also Democrats in the Senate. And right now, that doesn't appear to do either.
There is a tentative deal in the Hollywood writers' strike. If it's ratified, writers could go back to work 146 days after they walked off the job for better residuals, streaming revenues, and protections against AI-generated content. Sherry Preston, ABC News.
Let's go in depth here. The Salt Lake City Council is speaking out this morning after a bomb threat to a drag storytime event at the King's English Bookshop at 15th and 15th.
Joining us live on the KSL Newsline is Salt Lake City Council member Chris Wharton. May I ask you, Councilman, what the City Council is saying about this event?
Absolutely. We're very upset and sad to see this happening in our community. Some of us went to the bookstore yesterday to show our support, and we're just really concerned and trying to make sure that something like this doesn't happen again. We're hoping to, when the event gets rescheduled, the city can do all that we can to ensure that everyone can participate and that everyone will be safe.
Is the council getting any other information on this threat? Was it called in? Was it online? Do we know?
My understanding is that it was called in, but I really don't know a lot of those details at the moment. That's just was my impression from what I did here yesterday.
We understand, Councilman, that they've had drag storytime events at the King's English Bookshop for months, and there's never been a problem before, has there?
No, not at this location. There have been other events where there have been family-friendly drag shows that have had to be shut down in our city. That happened once at Tees Ante, and now that it's happened in another location, we're just very concerned about this becoming a pattern. This is not anything that we want to have in Salt Lake City.
You have sat on the council for a long time. I think you might even be the longest sitting council member. And so do you remember anything like this happening in your tenure there?
No, this is definitely a new unfortunate trend, and a trend that I want to see stopped and reversed right away. It's just, I think that it's unfortunate that a lot of national politics and a lot of national rhetoric is seeping down, but this is toxic, and this is not something that we want to have in our city.
So it is a trend. You're seeing more. Is it more hate directed toward the LGBTQ plus community or toward multiple communities?
I see it happening with multiple communities. Of course, because I'm part of the LGBTQ community, when I hear those stories, it hits me differently and impacts me differently. But I see it happening with a lot of minority communities, unfortunately.
Well, unfortunately, this incident has caused the closure of the bookshop, at least for today, as we understand it. Whether you're speaking personally or whether you're speaking on behalf of the council, what's the broader message today to the rest of the community?
Message is that this does not represent Salt Lake City. This is not who we are. We have no reason to believe that these are local actors either that are making these threats. But regardless of where they're from, this is not something that we want to allow in Salt Lake City. And I can't state more strongly that we want to create a city that is welcoming and affirming and inclusive of everybody. So we will work very, very hard to investigate this matter, to bring those responsible to justice. And we absolutely will work tirelessly to make sure that events like this are safe and available in the future.
I know so many people just cherish that bookstore. I wonder if they'll see people come out and buy books just to show support for the bookstore after this.
I hope they will, and that was part of our message yesterday, is that even if the bookstore is closed because of this, that people can still go online and order their books through the bookstore, and it still helps support that amazing local business, this jewel that we have in our city. And there will be more events like this. The staff at the bookstore has said that they're not going to stop doing Drag Story Hour, and we're going to make sure that that can continue.
Salt Lake City Council member Chris Wharton, thanks for your time this morning.
Thank you so much.
And that's the In-Depth at 15 and 45.
It is 8:49. Time for a look at traffic and weather together, which, of course, we do every 10 minutes on the nines. Brought to you by Granite Credit Union's new Dividend Plus checking account. What's it looking like, Heather?
Well, it's looking pretty good, although we do have a crash that's been called out on the I-215 West Belt. This is heading northbound near California Avenue. We've not seen it on the cameras, plus there's no delays in the area, but you might want to use some caution just in case there's some emergency vehicles showing up in that area. If you are northbound I-15 coming out of Utah County, we do have stop-and-go traffic still from Midvale into Murray and a few brake lights as you try to transition onto eastbound I-80. Jason.
Looking a little slow southbound on the west side belt as you make your way past the airport out there. About 7th South, right around there is where that's going to be, or excuse me, 7th North, that's what I meant to say. That's where you're going to pick up the slowing, and it's going to head on down almost to the 215 interchange. Southbound I-15 on and off slowing in the Kaysville area down to Lagoon, but nothing too major there, and looking much better now westgate of Hill Air Force Base. Eric.
Got some slow spots down Utah County, University Avenue and Provo, from 300 south up to about 800 north. Coming a little bit further north in Orem, we do have some eastbound, westbound slowing approaching State Street. That's at 800 north, and then coming off the freeway, Pleasant Grove Boulevard. That's a little bit busy too. But I-15 remains good from Santa Quinn to Point of the Mountain. That's a 30-minute drive. Is your car due for some extra love? Burt Brothers is here for your vehicle's routine maintenance, all done by our ASC certified technicians. Burt Brothers, affordable, complete auto care, done better. Eric Butler in the KSL Traffic Center.
High pressure firmly in control this week, and we're going to see temperatures running about 10 degrees above average for this time of year. 85 and sunny today. Same story on Tuesday. Wednesday, right there in the mid-80s and sunny as well. We'll pick up some breezy conditions, and we'll see those on Thursday. A little bit of breeze out of north will cool us slightly. 78 for an afternoon high. Low 70s on Friday, increasing clouds. Showers develop by Saturday. Upper 60s on Saturday. Low 60s on Sunday, again with off and on showers possible. From the KSL Weather Center, I'm Brett Benson.
Right now, sunny and 61. The 7-day forecast is brought to you by Performance Automotive Bountiful.
How much fun is it to be hosting the first Big 12 conference game coming up Friday night against the Cincinnati Bearcats? We're going to get you ready for that tonight. Actually, Matt and Mitch are going to get you ready for that with Cougar Nation tonight at 6 o'clock. Make sure you're tuned in. It's brought to you by Blue Barn Wealth. Empowers simple, intentional, and meaningful life. Visit BlueBarnWealth.com. Blue Barn Wealth. Fee-only fiduciaries who help you live within your meaning. BlueBarnWealth.com.
Tim and I want to help you save money. And we're always looking for ways to recommend things to you that will benefit your family. And boy, do we have a good one. It's called the NPS Store. You might have heard us talk about it and thought, what is this place like? Well, it's a store that has absolutely everything, and it changes every day. But including your groceries, you can save. Their basic business model is they take 30 to 70% off the retail price every day.
And we tell you all the time that they have literally everything. And we mean everything, like sinks and toilets and toilet seats and toilet tanks. And they're going to be marked another 70% off right now at the industrial store. But it's light bulbs, it's AC units, it's all single-priced items over $300 are going to take another 30% off.
Right, and that's at one of the two Salt Lake stores. That's the industrial store. And the other Salt Lake store has groceries where I save big money, but it also has an additional 70% off humidifiers, an additional 50% off summer sandals, bedding, bags, fashion jewelry, arts and crafts, furniture.
Lions and tigers and bears, oh my. Even 25% off laptops and Chromebooks. You want to take your family there and save some money. It's fun shopping, too. At NPS, there are 4 locations, one in Layton, one in Orem, and 2 stores in Salt Lake City.
Getting help with plumbing repairs is easier than you think. All you have to do is call Any Hour Services or schedule an appointment at anyhourservices.com. No one helps more homeowners than Any Hour Services.
When making important life decisions about your financial future or insurance needs, it's important to work with people you trust. That's why at Farm Bureau Financial Services, we don't rely on algorithms, bots, or auto-generated answers. We get to know you so we can help you get the right coverage and make smart financial decisions. We're the people who provide insurance and financial planning all in one place. Find a Farm Bureau agent or advisor at fbfs.com/protect. It's your future. Let's protect it.
Lennox Technology and the people who stand behind it. That's what you could expect when you work with your local Lennox dealer. Call Climate Services. Your Lennox system. Your Lennox dealer. They are truly perfect together, working together season after season to maintain your home's ultimate comfort. For a limited time, get up to $1,500 in rebates, or qualified buyers make no payments, incur no interest for 6 months when financing a new Lennox system, plus receive up to $3,200 in federal tax credits. Working with Call Climate Services means you're choosing the best in the business. Call today at 801-298-4810, 801-298-4810, or visit online at callclimate.com. Callclimate.com. Conditions apply. See dealer for details. Dealer license number 35823455501.
Dave and Dujanovic. The Hollywood writers' strike is over. But if you think you're going to get your favorite shows back, not so fast. The actors still on strike. I'll tell you how much this is costing Utah. It's in the tens of millions. But industry-wide, it's billions. The strikes, today on Dave and Dujanovic.
Watching Utah's Money, brought to you by Trajan Wealth, your trusted local fiduciary advisors, TrajanWealth.com. Markets have been down all morning, and they're still there. The Dow is off almost half a percentage point now, down 162. The S&P is off by 10. The NASDAQ is down about